one who gets hit by a beer in the neighborhood. Call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray. First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a Hooters.
I like that.
Vomit. Whoa.
And 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray with you tonight until 11 o'clock. And oh, did we get some breaking news on the way in? I didn't even know about it. I got a notification that the Patriots have traded Mathew Judon to the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course, reported by Jordan Schultz, who, I give his number. Maybe I'll text him, see if we can get a little bit more on this one. But it looks like a straight-up deal. Mathew Judon traded away from New England to Atlanta. And as he watched everyone get new contracts but him, the number was $6.5 million guaranteed money. So maybe that was the reason why. I personally, the report is it's a third-round pick. So I need a little bit more. I just need a little bit more. Is it definitely a third-round pick? I'm waiting to get the full compensation on it. But if it's a third-round pick for Mathew Judon, I think that's a win for the New England Patriots. And when you think about it, right, I think yesterday, seeing some of the joint practices, I've always had the expectation they're going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. I have said that. If you listen to this show every night, you know I have said that. And yesterday, people who were down there and watched them against a team that was in a Super Bowl just about a year ago, and they watched how the Patriots match up against them, you should not be surprised by this. You should not be surprised. And I think they finally got a suitor to give him a third-round pick, and it is the Atlanta Falcons. And first off, my original take on this is what we talked about in the back. Skaz is here today. Christina's here as well. It's her last day. We'll give her a shout-out. I see multiple reports now. Patriots are trading Pro Bowl pass rusher Mathew Judon to the Falcons for a third-round pick. So the Adam Schefter has that. But the Patriots could not come to an agreement with Mathew Judon. Their best player, their best pass rusher, while they gave money to Anthony Jennings. Keon White's on the rise. The Jimenez kid looked pretty good in the preseason. They gave Tavai a new contract. Sione Takitaki came in as a free agent who's on the PUP list. And Josh Uche is a guy that they locked up who's a situational rusher. Getting a third-round pick for Mathew Judon's a win for the Pats. He became somewhat of an issue. He literally called them liars. But you saw something from him. He looked happier on the sideline last week. He was working with Jimenez on some defensive, some defensive plays, trying to show him where to be and to where to line up. But I feel like that is a very positive thing for him. But there was a discussion. Maybe they were trying to work something out. And in the end they said, hey, can you put on a good smile for about a week and then we'll see what we can do for you? But this is something I think they should have done before the season started. Getting a third-round pick today is a win, but could you have gotten more for Mathew Judon? A third-round pick next year, it might be late 20s, depending on what Atlanta does, and I do want to touch on them in a little bit. But could they have done something with Judon beforehand? I think he wanted to be here. He even said he wanted to retire here in New England. So why did you wait now until the second week of preseason to do this? But to get a third-round pick, considering where people and their salary caps are, Atlanta makes the move. And let's just talk about Atlanta for a minute here. They got the coach, Raheem Morris, they're bringing back that they know well. They passed on Bill Belichick. And I just looked up their draft. Besides Michael Penix and a running back from Alabama that they drafted late in the 6th round, every single draft pick that they made was on the defensive side of the football. You know what the Falcons are offensively. They're loaded. Right? Kirk Cousins is coming in. Bijan Robinson from last year. Outstanding rookie at running back. Drake London, a number 1 receiver in the league. They get Darnell Mooney in free agency. They have a decent offensive line. They needed help defensively. Grady Jarrett's big in the middle. Now add Mathew Judon to that mix with Zach Harrison on the outside. They got themselves a nice little team now. A.J. Terrell at corner was a former first-round pick for them. Right, they get Mike Hughes in free agency as a defensive back. Atlanta's coming along here now. The Atlanta Falcons are a better destination than the New England Patriots. That is where we are at in 2024. The Atlanta Falcons are a better destination. And do I have to bring up another thing that Atlanta did? They signed their free agent quarterback to a big deal. And what did they do? They also went into the draft and took the best quarterback available. Something you would thought that the Patriots could have done this year. Atlanta's pushing the right buttons. They passed on Bill Belichick. And now the Patriots have passed one of the best pass rushers in the league, when healthy, fact, to the Atlanta Falcons for a 3rd-round pick. Didn't have to take this long. Probably didn't have to play out the way that it did in the end. But the Patriots are moving on from Mathew Judon today. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. You heard a highlight coming back from break. Mathew Judon was a really good Patriot for what he did here. A really good Patriot. And I know Jordan Schultz, who broke the story, had a little bit more on it. We'll tell you more on the other side. And a lot happened today around the NFL that I think does impact the Patriots and just the view of it all. So the Mathew Judon trade just went down. We had a whole show lined up for you. We'll still get into all that. But Mathew Judon's gone. How do you feel about a 3rd-round pick? And how do you feel about their best player being traded today to the Atlanta Falcons? Your thoughts, 617-779-0985. We're also on YouTube as well. Just go to youtube.com, search 98.5 The Sports Hub. You'll see the live link. Click that. Boom, you can enter the chat. I know Christina's in there. It's her last night. A bunch of our normal listeners are there every single night. Skaz is in there as well. Your thoughts on Mathew Judon, no longer a New England Patriot. We'll talk about that coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way.
I'm not working until tomorrow after the game. So going to get it all out of the way tonight. I don't know how the call screener works. I'm on a different computer right now. Because the other one doesn't work over there. The one that Felger, the a-hole chair, for some reason, the computer it doesn't work. So I am at a different spot. I'm in the Maz chair right now. And it's not what I like. It's uncomfortable for me. It's kind of like what the Patriots season is going to be like this year. After Mathew Judon got traded. Mathew Judon was the Patriots' best player. You can argue with me, and feel free to do it all night long here at 617-779-0985 once I figure out how to use the phones. But I'll tell you right now, I think there should be some outrage today. I think there should be some outrage from Patriots fans. Again, to relate to you all, I was a season ticket holder. This year, I turned it down. It's not because I don't love going to the games. It's not that I did. I loved having the tickets. When you have a big game, you can make the choice. Do you want to go? Do you want to sell it? Whatever. But this year, I just couldn't do it anymore. It had nothing to do with ownership spending money or... It was about the fact that the interest in the Patriots has gone down. And it's hard for me to say the interest in the Patriots has gone down because we literally talk about stories every night here. We talk about the offensive line and Drake May's development and is Alex Van Pelt the right guy and could Gerard Mayo coach and all those things. Really, I'm still stuck on the fact that Robert Kraft thought that Gerard Mayo is the right guy for this. Like, here we are still believing in the Krafts when, I still believe it was Brady and Belichick, and in the end it was Brady. That's my stance on that. I think Bill Belichick ran the team right into the ground because I think Robert Kraft meddled. I think Bill wanted to do a certain way. Kraft got involved, and he goes, all right, well, if you want to run it, this is what it's going to look like. And he's left them bare. But it's not Belichick's fault. The Krafts can go spend money. They can go spend money. You can make trades to acquire maybe someone who is an albatross somewhere else, but helps your team right now. So the Patriots traded Mathew Judon, their best player, their best recruiter, the biggest name, the name that other people around the league associate the Patriots with. They just saved themselves $6.5 million. Someone tried to come at me and say, stop saying the Patriots have the most cap space, blah, blah, blah. They just added another $6.5 million. I threw out the question, how do Patriots fans feel about this? I don't like emails, but I've gotten them. You can tweet at me, at Joey Murr on Twitter, or just join the chat. But I got this one from Tim. Can we now spend capital on some linemen? Please! We need the auditions. Start the auditions. That's Tim in Nashua, who calls in often. Thank you, Tim. And then S.E.L. That's his name. Kraft is cheap. He's not spending money on anyone. He still thinks Brady is here, and people will take pay cuts to play for him. That's the problem. That's just two emails that I don't want. But how people feel. That's where we're at right now. The Patriots have traded their best player. So, Skaz mentioned something off the break. I'm in a different chair, so I can't see Skaz like I normally do. There he is. Is Neil there?
Neil is out. He just left the building.
Well, we love you, Neil. Skaz, I got 3-part question for you. One, what do you think about the Judon trade to Atlanta and the compensation?
Yeah, the compensation kind of surprised me a little more than I thought they were going to get. I mean, you're getting a third-round pick for a guy with an expiring contract coming off an injury that is in his 30s. So I expected it to be a 4th or 5th. Obviously, you're not getting too worked up about a third-round pick, but that's definitely a better return than I would have thought they would have got.
I think the third-round pick's fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
And in terms of the Patriots, they're just. It's going to be tough, Joe. It's going to be a long season. Mathew Judon was their best player. Now, I don't know who their best player is.
Well, Skaz, I think you should should ask the listeners that question.
Yeah. Who is the Patriots' best player? Is it Ramondre Stevenson? Is it Christian Gonzalez if he is who we think he is? And do the Patriots have the worst best player in the NFL, Joe? I think that's unfortunately...
wait. So do the Patriots have the best, worst player in the league? If you look at all the teams... This is like when the Red Sox, they had to have a representative in the early 90s to make the All-Star team. And Scott Cooper was the guy. Scott Cooper, nice player. But he was the best. He was the worst All-Star.
He's the worst best player, yes.
Yes.
That's my buddy Kyle, who we've had on the show before.
Kyle
Irving. He texted me that and goes, hey, does this mean that the Patriots' best player is now Ramondre Stevenson? And that's like... when they're putting out the game days and stuff like that, we were going to get a lot of Mathew Judon on the cover of those this year. I don't know. We're going to get Bryce Behringer on the cover of game day now. Like, is that what we're going to do this season? Because we were fans, everybody, coaches were banking on the defense for this team. Barmore's out. Judon's gone. Christian Gonzalez is coming off an injury. It's tough sledding, Joe.
Oh, the team stinks to high heaven. It smells over there. And again, a hot take that is still living. You know how like some takes still live? The Matt Patricia take, the stink in the locker room. It's still there. You know where else it went? It went to Philadelphia too. So both of them are stinking it up at joint practices right now with O'Day Patricia. They are. If I asked you who's the best player on the Philadelphia Eagles, where do you start? A.J. Brown, maybe? I mean, like there's a few of them, right?
There's a lot of guys to choose from.
Like, is it Jalen Hurts, who was an MVP candidate? Like, there's a lot. Lane Johnson, one of the best linemen in the league. There's a lot of them.
You got a couple defensive linemen that would like a word, too.
Yes. So when you talk about the Eagles, it's like, I mean, their second and third receiver is better than any of the receivers. Their third receiver, they're tied. It's wild how good and loaded with talent the Eagles are.
And then we have the Patriots, Joe.
And then there's the Patriots. I guess we should throw that out there. Who is the Patriots' best player now? Because it's the worst in the league at the best.
I do think your point about the Falcons is interesting, though. They signed a quarterback this offseason, drafted a quarterback this offseason. The Patriots signed a quarterback this offseason, drafted a quarterback this offseason. Obviously, the rosters are completely different. The Falcons have playmakers. They have a lot of guys on offense that can, make stuff happen when they get the ball in their hands. I don't think they're loaded by any means, but they have a competent roster. So just looking at them compared to the Patriots, it's a stark contrast.
Who did they turn down as their head coach this offseason?
That would be one Bill Belichick, Joe.
I think the discussion of going with the offensive coordinator instead of the head coach. I'm gonna go there right now. This is probably another topic we can do later on in the night. Raheem Morris is a damn good defensive coordinator in this league. He's been a head coach before. He had a cup of coffee in Atlanta, and they knew him. The Atlanta Falcons would rather Raheem Morris be their head coach. But, as far as their offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson was a guy that could have come to New England. They wanted him. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted a guy they were familiar with who has some head coaching experience to go with the young, offensive-minded coordinator in Zach Robinson. And what'd they do? In free agency, they signed Kirk Cousins, the best quarterback available. Because Desmond Ridder didn't work out. They tried to hit on a guy later in the second-round pick, right? It didn't work. So they signed the best quarterback available. And with their first-round pick, a top 10 pick, when they're completely loaded on offense, they get the most ready, experienced quarterback who played 6 years of college football and was just in the national championship game. The Patriots didn't do that. They signed Jacoby Brissett and got Drake May. And have Gerard Mayo, who was Robert Kraft's pick. The Falcons are doing things differently. The Patriots are still playing chess. Or think they're playing chess. How about that? Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. I don't have a call screen, Scaz, so why don't we do longest order or wait? Who do we have first tonight?
Joe, we will head to Matt in Rhode Island.
Matt in Rhode Island, what's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for taking my call. I was originally calling to talk about the Judon trade, but then you guys brought up the best player thing. Two thoughts. One, I think a third-round pick's a good return, but even the Carolina Panthers, a team that's also going to struggle this year, you can see them paying someone like Robert Hunt a lot of money, like an offensive lineman. You gotta have some building blocks, and I think the Patriots' best player now may be Kyle Duggar. Thanks, guys.
I can't call a safety a best player, unfortunately. I can't do it. Just can't do it.
I don't feel better about calling a running back their best player, Joe.
It's funny. My Twitter or X is loaded with opinions of who the best player is. Let's take another call. Who else has been waiting? Scaz. I don't know.
We'll head to Tony on the Pike, Joe.
Tony on the Pike. What's up, Tony?
Hey. Thanks for my call, Murray.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about this. I'm so sick of this stuff. I'm so sick of this behavior from the Pats. And it's not just now. It was with Belichick, too. It's a pattern, and Belichick's gone, so the only person left is Kraft that's still doing this stuff. I mean, this sounds like a Belichick trade. And I used to think Belichick was a jerk for making trades like this and treating their best player or really good players like crap. But I think it was Kraft at this point. And I think Kraft really just stepped in it with Brady. I'm not going to give him credit for anything except making a ton of money. I mean, everybody's paid for this season. There's nothing we can do about it. But next season's another story. And they don't seem to understand that it's not, the Super Bowl run is not going to maintain itself indefinitely for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, Tony, you're frustrated, and I get it. Like right now, everyone paid for this year because they love the Patriots. I backed out, but next year they're going to sell you that Drake May is ready to go.
Yeah, no, nobody's buying that. And,
well, you might have to because that's what they're selling you.
They'll probably trade him or something like that.
They'll trade Drake May
in a fifth.
Well, the loyalty I can understand and appreciate your call, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Mathew Judon is going to be 32 years old tomorrow. The $6.5 million was an absolute steal. One of the best, a top 20 pass rusher in the league. And when he's healthy, he's a sack a game guy. The $6.5 million was an absolute steal. So, getting a third-round pick, all Atlanta had to do was acquire him, give up the pick, and just add his money to the roster. That's it. That's all they had to do. I'm reading here, too, from Jordan Schultz, who broke the news. He mentioned this, and I saw this yesterday. I actually put it in our rundown, Scaz, but we were messing around too much last night, so I didn't get to the business. There were several teams interested in Judon. It came down to the Bears and the Falcons. Last night, I read a report that the Bears offered a 4th and a 6th round pick for Mathew Judon. And I read that it was a source in Chicago. I forget who it was. But the Patriots weren't budging. They wanted more than a 4th and a 6th. They land on a 3rd. The Falcons beat out the Bears. But think about that. The Bears with Caleb Williams. We just talked about this. The Bears with Caleb Williams traded for Keenan Allen, then drafted Rome Odunze when they have Cole Kmet that they drafted a couple of years ago. They're continuing to get better. Like, didn't they trade for who's the big pass rusher that they traded for last year? The Bears are always in the mix, dude. They're always trying to get better. And their coaching and quarterback has been their biggest issue. That's been their biggest problem. Montez Sweat, that was a first-round pick. So they get Montez Sweat in the deal, and they wanted Mathew Judon. They wanted him to help their defense because it was only money. It was only money. But the Falcons trumped him. Good for the Falcons. I think this is a huge move for them. Plus, he's going to play. He's from Michigan, but he's going to play on turf in a dome. And if he's healthy with his speed, he is going to help the Falcons. He is going to help the Falcons way more than he could have helped the Patriots. Here's the question. What are the Patriots going to do with the money now? This is why I bring up they should have done it in March. Instead, he had to go out, embarrass Gerard Mayo, embarrass Elliott Wolf, call the Patriots liars, disappear, come back, helped on the sideline. He looked happy. And then you trade him the night before a game and the night before his birthday, by the way. He now is going to Atlanta. He's going to the strip club tonight. He's going to get those wings. Oh, what a night for Mathew Judon. He leaves the Patriots for Atlanta, where they might have given him an extension. It's going to help them big time. He's going to celebrate his birthday tonight. A very happy man. We'll continue your phone calls here at 617-779-0985. You can react to the Mathew Judon trade. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. Let's get your Sports Hub headlines right now.
Sports Hub headlines. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, back there, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. There's a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to the Mathew Judon trade. And we got loaded phone line, so we'll get to you guys in a second here. 617-779-0985. That's a phone number if you want to jump aboard. We're also on YouTube tonight. I'm in a different chair. Don't know why the computer doesn't work. I don't know if anybody's here that can help us, but if they could, it'd be great. But we're here on YouTube. You guys can see me on here. It's Christina's last night. So we'll hear from her later on tonight as well. Skaz is here. We're doing it all. And the news broke just a couple hours ago, or about an hour or so ago, regarding Mathew Judon being traded to Atlanta. Atlanta's going for it, everybody, while the Patriots are selling pieces off, literally tanking their season. Yep. Yes, they are. This was a tank move. Hey, a third-round pick, by the way, I am fine with it. And they get rid of a guy that maybe was a malcontent. Man, I think it's probably better off having Mathew Judon here than not. That's just my opinion. But here we are right now. Who is the Patriots' best player? Who is the Patriots' best player now? Is it Michael Onwenu? Because it's their biggest need? Ramondre Stevenson? Yet he's coming off an injury. Don't give me Christian Gonzalez. You know why? Do you know how many times people say, Christian Gonzalez in the first 4 games last year was great? Do you know why he was great? Because Mathew Judon was rushing the passer on one side of the field and he played on the other. So that also now makes him worse. It makes things difficult for him. You know what I'm going to do during the break as well? I'm going to look up if the win total has changed. Has the win total changed now that Mathew Judon is gone? It was 4.5 or 5 or whatever it was. I wonder what it is now. So we got that on the table as well. Skaz, again, don't have a call screener if you want to give me next longest order of wait. Who we got?
We got Tommy and Lynn.
Tommy and Lynn! Tommy!
What's up, Joe? What's up, Gaz? This is what I got to say tonight. The Patriots, they had to trade Judon. You know why? Because he was being a distraction. He wanted more money, and he was, complaining, causing problems. I'm happy that they traded him. But, hey, Judon, happy birthday. Joe, I'm on the bus right now, going back to Lynn. I was in Peabody, your stopping ground. Now I'm going back to Lynn. These Patriots are going to have a bad season, Joe. I don't know what to say about this team. There's nothing to say about them.
Going to be a tough year, Tommy, and I appreciate your call.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your bus ride. That's one thing I don't want to do anymore is take a bus. Sorry. Did that a lot in my life. Out. So, but thank you for listening on the bus. Thank you for everybody listening on a bus. Thank you for the bus drivers as well. Was he a distraction? See, I don't know, the articles we were reading where the teammates were rooting for him. The guy used to make $14 million a year, and now he's making $6 million. But then everybody's going, well, he signed a contract and it's to the deal. $6.5 million is nothing for one of the premier pass rushers in the league. Think about the top positions in the NFL. Quarterback, defensive back, pass rusher. Right, guys? Will you say that's 1, 2, 3? I mean, it's turning into offensive line now, which is not sexy. But every tackle gets big money, right? You could just be an average tackle and you're going to get paid. Michael Onwenu is got tackle money and is playing guard. And just to really stick your nose in it again for a Patriots fan, the 2019 draft, they drafted N'Keal Harry, Joan, whatever his name was, him, and Chase Winovich. pass rusher, defensive back, wide receiver. And then they drafted Mac Jones the next year. They failed. And you can blame Bill Belichick all you want. They had the money this offseason to sign wide receivers, tackles, pass rushers, corners. They didn't do it. And now they're going to save $6.5 million a year on Judon. What are they going to do with that money? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What you going to do with it? What are they going to do with it? They're just going to save it now, right? They're probably going to save the money. So, yeah, you got a third-round pick next year. Good. You got a third-round pick. Cool. What are you going to do with the money? What are you going to do with the money? And there's a lot of songs, right? What you going to do with that money? You're a rich girl. You know, like, what are you going to do with the money? Show me the money. Can we take another call, Skaz, please?
Yes, we'll head to Steve in Northborough.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, boys. How we doing?
Good.
Preach, Joe, preach. I don't even know where to begin with this history of lack of spending with Bob Kraft. I can't believe if this was the Red Sox or anyone else, he'd be getting killed. It's been this way since Brady. He won't pay for players. He won't pay for a coaching staff now. I think the only person he ever did pay for was Bill Belichick to be his fall guy. I mean, you know, he was like Harry Sinden with the trophies. He was the one taking all the heat all these years.
Oof. That's a tough one there. Harry Sinden with the trophies, huh?
You know, he's a great coach, Bill Belichick. He won, but he just like Harry Sinden. I think Harry Sinden was Jacob's fall guy for a lot of years.
Yeah. Hey, and I wanted to say this to you. I was going to start the show if there was not a Mathew Judon trade tonight. I was going to start the show by saying, why are we literally watching the Crafts do what they think is right while the rest of the league is doing things differently? Like, I think the Crafts are taking credit for all the success for the last 25 years.
Right.
Like, it was. Did they put the right guy in place? Yes. Did that guy find Tom Brady? Yes. But they want to take the credit like they make that they made all the decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Like, is Gerard Mayo the right guy? Is Alex Van Pelt the right guy? Did they draft Drake May? Was that the right pick? They're not going to play him this year. And granted, I give Skaz credit for this one. If you look what's going on in Minnesota right now, well, they're not playing the other guy that they like. Well, they got rid of the guy that got hurt. They got Sam Darnold, who really has no experience, but has been a starter. And then the guy that they picked got hurt, and he's out for the year. And then the other guy that they drafted last year in the first round got hurt, and he already had a DUI to begin with. Not good.
You just going on that rant, just talking about the Patriots as a whole, and finding out what Gerard Mayo is and stuff like that. This does kind of give me pause that they're going to be so bad. We're not going to learn anything this year, Joe. Like, how can we possibly know if he's a good coach with this roster? It almost feels unfair at this point. Like, they don't get penalized that much. He's a good coach. Like,
is this ML Carr with the Celtics? Just throw him in there, and then when you suck so bad, we'll find the right guy eventually.
And then what? Does Mayo become like a sacrificial lamb for Kraft? Because, the team sucks. Well, it's Mayo. It was Mayo. We hired the wrong guy. It's, the roster. Mayo, we spent some money.
You know what's funny? Mayo deflected. Remember this weekend? Hey, so what was the plan with the quarterback? Well, it was Van Pelt and McAdoo. I got all pissed off because he's the coach, right? Maybe he's already deflecting, Skaz. Maybe he's already looking at it like, man, this job I got here is
Is he deflecting or facilitating, Joe?
Oh no! Now I think we just opened up a can of worms. Instead of me thinking that Mayo's going to suck as a head coach, maybe the Crafts want him to suck as a head coach so he could be the sacrificial lamb like Belichick was all those years. Can we get 300 words out of that? We do have to take a quick break. The phone lines are loaded. I have to look up the betting odds. I have to look to see if the Patriots... I think the Patriots are going to be the worst team in the NFL, and I've been consistent by that. And anyone who listens to this show knows I have doubled down on that bet. Have the odds changed with the Mathew Judon trade? We'll tell you on the other side. I'm Joe Murray, and we got a giveaway on the other side as well. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming. on the Sports Hub.
Back here, 98.5, the Sports Hub. Unfortunately, I'm working in the conditions here at the studio. I'm battling here. I'm using my phone. It's difficult. Skaz is manning the phones at the moment. Christina's answering the phones at the moment. I don't have a call screener. We're gonna work through this, so I apologize if I'm a little behind. But you can call in tonight, and we will take your calls at 617-779-0985. During the break there, I could not look up the win total. I'm trying to on my phone. But while I'm doing that, let's do a giveaway, everybody. Caller number 10 right now to the contest line will score a pair of tickets to the sold-out first WNBA game to be played at TD Garden, August 20th with the Connecticut Sun. Register now for their free youth sports festival on the 17th at the New Balance track. Visit sun.wnba.com/youth-sports-festival. And I'm going to do that one more time. Caller number 10 to the contest line will score a pair of tickets to the sold-out first WNBA game to be played at TD Garden on August 20th with the Connecticut Sun. Register now for their free youth sports festival on the 17th at the New Balance track. Visit sun.wnba.com/youth-sports-festival. That's what it says on the copy. So caller number 10 right now will receive that. Mathew Judon has been traded, everybody. Mathew Judon has been traded. Your thoughts on the return? And the Patriots have a lot of flaws right now. A lot of flaws. What is the Judon trade? How does the Judon trade impact those? And what is the presence of Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, the limited reps, and what do you expect tomorrow night when the Patriots and Eagles play? We'll get into all that, but first, let's get the Sports Hub headlines.
From the Towns Fair Tire Studios, the Patriots
into the end zone.
Here.
Touchdown for the Patriots.
WBC FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, the Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Patriots have traded Mathew Judon to the Atlanta Falcons for a third-round pick. Multiple teams were interested in Judon, but Atlanta gave up the most, so he's headed off to Atlanta. Patriots and Eagles will play preseason game number 2 tomorrow over at Gillette Stadium. The Red Sox in action right now with the Texas Rangers. Game started at 6 o'clock tonight. And of course, I'm having a computer issue. So I wish I can give you the score, and I'm going to try to. It's 4-2 Red Sox at the moment. That's good. They're winning, and they need a win. Tanner Houck got the start, 6 2/3, 2 earned, 3 strikeouts, 108 pitches. And I thought Brendan Bernardino got sent down, but you know what? He didn't because he's pitching. Headlines, they are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Get started today with your 20-pound summer slim down. The results are fast, easy, and start your own very first week at Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update in 30 minutes.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Show to do tonight, and a big news story, so we love it. Mathew Judon's moving on. His birthday is tomorrow. What's the name of that wing place? Magic City Wings? Whoa. If I was Judon, I'd get on a plane and go right to Magic City and spend my birthday there. And then show up tomorrow to Atlanta. Oh, he's going to fit in so well there. It's going to work out. Giveaway done? All right, giveaway is done. I can't. I'm in a different chair, but this is different over here. I don't mean to complain. It's just I feel like I'm like out of my element. I can't see Skaz. There's just like pull in his way, and I can't see Christina. The call screen doesn't work. And I'm pissed at the Patriots. You just traded Mathew Judon, right? Now what are you going to do? What are you going to spend money on? You going to get tackle? You going to bring in David Bakhtiari? What are you going to do? You going to get an offensive lineman? Are you going to get an offensive lineman? Are you going to trade for an offensive lineman who makes a lot of money somewhere else that they don't want, but you're going to take him because you need him? Is that what you're going to do? What are you going to do with the money now? 3rd round pick, great. What are you going to do with the money? What are you going to do with the money? What do you want them to do with the money? They need a tackle. They need a tackle. They need a lineman that can play, that gets paid a lot of money, that somebody else doesn't want. Maybe I'll ask Mike Kadlick that on the other side as we talk to him from CLNS. New light bulbs in the lighthouse? Is that what they're going to do, Nizo? Yes, I blame Judon for the call screener not working too. Let's take calls, guys. Since I can't use it, you're running it.
We got Bob and Woburn, Joe.
Bob and Woburn.
Hey, how you guys doing? I love your show. The whole problem here is the coach. Do you think this would be this way if Mike Vrabel was the coach? Of course not.
Why?
That's my opinion. I think it'd be a dumpster fire if Mike Vrabel was coach.
Do you think...
I mean, Tennessee turned into kind of a dumpster fire.
Tennessee's on the rise right now. They're listed as one of the top 10.
Without Mike Vrabel.
Because they got an offensive-minded coach. Here's the deal, bro.
The only reason they hired Gerard Mayer would be politically correct because he's black.
Oh, stop. Stop that. Hang up on that guy. No. Skaz, do we have to bring awareness again? That's the age demographic that doesn't count for us, right? Those are the people that are going to tell you when I grew up and this is how it was done. I grew up in Boston too, bro. Okay? I have to now bring awareness for something ignorant that you just said. Do you know that? I don't want to spend time on the show to do this, but you know what? I might have to be the guy to do it. If you're going to call in and say that that's why guys are hired, that's ignorance on your part, and now I have to bring awareness of somebody saying something ignorant that just can't be tolerated anymore. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a guy who does this. This isn't my job. My job is not to bring awareness to ignorant things that people say. But you know what? When you say it, that's what I have to do. Let's keep it about football. Mathew Judon was an asset at $6.5 million, okay? They didn't want to give him... They might have offered him an extension. I don't know the story. I don't know. But they obviously did not come to terms on a deal. So they traded him. Atlanta valued him so much they gave up a 3rd-round pick. That has nothing to do with the coach or his color. That's just a fact, bro. I appreciate you listening. But now I got to bring awareness for your ignorant comment. And I hate that. Sorry. It's about football. Mathew Judon, $6.5 million, great pass rusher, but has been hurt. They did not want to invest in the player any longer. That's the story. That's the story. But where I wanted to go with this to start the show tonight, the Patriots are essentially redshirting Drake May this year. The Patriots have flaws all over the roster, right? Offensive line, number 1 receiver. And right now, their 2024 season is a rebuild. The coach said it himself yesterday. Jacoby Brissett comes in. Drake May is getting the same reps in practice, but limited reps in the preseason opener, which I think was a missed opportunity considering the Panthers and how bad they are. But the Patriots have essentially said they want to protect Mac Jones this year, and it's a redshirt season. I just said Mac Jones. It's a redshirt season for Drake May. I am scarred by Mac Jones because I keep calling Drake May Mac Jones. But if May is viewed as more of a long-term project and is that redshirt and isn't ready, and when they tell you things like, has footwork and he reads and doesn't read the blitz and the all that stuff, pace of the game, all that. Robert Kraft at least is telling people that the Patriots are on the upswing. So when I tell you slow burn, this is going to be a painful slow burn. And I still question the Patriots. I question the Patriots on hiring a guy who's never been a coordinator, who's never been a head coach. I question that. They brought in Alex Van Pelt. It wasn't like other teams were knocking on the door for Van Pelt. And it just so happens Van Pelt was fired by Cleveland, so therefore they don't have to pay him. The Crafts think what they're doing is the right way. I don't view what they're doing like the rest of the league. And the fact that Tom Brady's been gone for 5 seasons, they've had 2 quarterbacks now, Mac Jones and Drake May. They even drafted Bailey Zappi if you want to throw him in there. They still don't have offensive linemen. Just think of their draft picks over the last couple of years. In 2020, it was Kyle Duggar and Josh Uche and Jennings. Well, Jennings now going to get a look, and Uche might play more now with Judon gone. In 2021, they drafted Christian Barmore, great player, unfortunately out indefinitely. Ramondre Stevenson, good player, injured at the end of the year. Josh Bledsoe, still a special teamer. In 2022, with their first-round pick, they took Cole Strange. They thought drafting a lineman, a guard in the first round would work. It hasn't. They then selected Tyquan Thornton because he was the fastest guy in the draft. He's still on the bubble. Marcus Jones won a game against the Jets for them 2 years ago, but has been injured and probably primarily will play at nickel this year. Zappi was in that draft. Kevin Harris, back into the roster. Sam Roberts, back into the roster. 2023, they draft Christian Gonzalez. Looked great in those first couple of games, right? But you know what? It was Mathew Judon that put the pressure. We played a highlight earlier tonight of Judon doing something that impacted a play for Christian Gonzalez. Right? They got Keon White, who's probably now going to take a bigger role. Pop Douglas is going to be a big part of their offense. Kayshon Boutte, bubble player. Behringer, their punter. Ryland on the bubble. When it comes to the offensive line, this is who they drafted. Sidi Sow, Mafi, Jake Andrews, Caden Wallace, Layden Robinson. If you think of those 5 guys, if you put Jake Andrews at center with Sow and Mafi at guard and Wallace and Robinson at tackle, you mean to tell me that's the future New England Patriots offensive lineman? With Michael Onwenu? It's not good. Did they really project that as the line of the future? And now they're redshirting a kid who could be ready but won't play because they don't know the talent? It's ridiculous. It really is. But the pushback is, look what just happened in Minnesota. They played J.J. McCarthy in a meaningless game, and he's out for the year. So I'm not telling you they're wrong. It's just, I don't think they know. I don't think they know. They'll tell us it's a rebuild. I just don't think they know. So everyone can blame Bill Belichick for putting them here. But now you have to do things differently, like spend money. They're redshirting a kid who may be ready. But he can't be ready. You know why? Because the Patriots aren't ready. So for all the pushback and everything about Drake May, he might be ready. He actually might be ready. Drake May might be ready. You know what the problem is? The Patriots aren't. And they've had 5 years since Tom Brady to do it. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. I didn't mean to yell. But my call screener doesn't work. Anybody else want to call and say why a guy got hired? That pissed me off. Anybody else on there, Skaz, or should I just go to my
Yeah, we got plenty of callers, Joe. Let's head to Jeff in Foxborough.
Hey, Jeff in Foxborough. How are you?
JoJo, pump the brakes. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay.
Okay.
Here's why. Mac Jones is gone. Jacoby Brissett will be an upgrade for Mac Jones. I understand the line is in shambles. But if we can at least address the line before, or at least during the season, they'll have a chance. Because Ramondre Stevenson should be an absolute monster.
With the terrible offensive line?
No, that's what I'm saying. Address the offensive line during the season.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, even if they went and grabbed somebody right now,
what would you do?
It's not going to be perfect at the start.
Okay, let me just say this. I know you told me to pump the brakes and calm down and all that. I can't because I have passion. Would you have passion? Are you a passionate fan?
I'm a very passionate fan.
Okay, but you're sold. You're sold on the idea that we need to give this some time, right?
At least a couple of weeks before we start to say this is the worst season ever.
Okay.
Now, granted, I love Red Sleeves. Absolutely loved them. I did the dance in my living room.
Yeah.
But the guy, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
With him or without him. We didn't have him all last season.
I think you're missing the point. They got a third-round pick for Judon. Score. Win. What are you going to do with the money?
Sure.
What are you going to do with the money?
No. You have to get a legitimate left tackle.
Okay, they can't do that right now. Unless they trade for someone and take on money.
Right.
Who's giving up their tackle with the 2 weeks to go in the season?
They have to get somebody other than...
No, but what I'm trying to tell you, you're missing the big point, and I appreciate you calling. Thank you. You can move on. Here's the deal, bro. They've had 5 years. 5 years to figure it out. 5 years. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 5 years to figure it out. 5 years to figure it out. And now they're wasting a season. They're redshirting a guy because they don't have it figured out. Don't tell me to relax. No. Patriots fans should be pissed. They've had so much time to figure it out. They just waste it and then don't pay. Literally had guys here in the locker room that he could have paid and they didn't. And now you have a guy that they want to. Now I'm really starting to feel it. The media, it was so bad. Oh, Drake May is so bad. Drake May's so bad. Drake May's so bad because everybody in front of him sucks. What do you guys know? How does anybody know that Drake May's not ready to play? Because you hear some guy tell you that was down there? It's because everybody sucks. The Patriots aren't ready. They aren't ready. Stop telling me Drake May's not ready. The Patriots aren't ready. It's not Drake May. It's the Patriots. Drake May worked his ass off to be the number 3 overall pick in the draft and help a team. Unfortunately, the Patriots can't help themselves. We'll talk to Mike Kadlick coming up on the other side here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. My passion as a Patriots fan took over there. It's been 5 years, everybody. 5 years since Tom Brady has left the team. They still don't have a number one receiver. They still don't have an offensive line. They still aren't paying. They just traded their best player. And they're redshirting Drake May. And I have a developing take. I don't know if Drake May is not ready. I don't. The local reporters are going to tell you it's horrible and he needs time and by the way, I'm fine with that. If he needs to sit a year, he doesn't have to play to develop. I stand by that. But now I don't know if I believe Mayo, Van Pelt, or the Crafts like they're the right guys to make the decision. Because here's the deal. Drake May might be ready. But the Patriots certainly are not. Let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline right now. Welcome in Mike Kadlick from CLNS. Mike, I'm unhappy. I'm not a happy camper today.
Joe, deep breaths. This is going to be okay. This Mathew Judon trade, if you are, first of all, a Patriots fan, as you are, on the surface level, trading away their best player doesn't look good. I get that. I've gotten that text from several people so far saying, why are they trading their best player? And my reaction is, I'll give it to you right off the bat, the Patriots are a 2025 and beyond team. I have said this on Twitter. I have said it on our CLNS podcast. I've written about it. I probably said it to you on this show the last time I was on here. This team are building for the long term. And to get a third-round pick in return for Mathew Judon is a good thing. And now, I understand you're trading away your best player. You want to win games now. But clearly, as you just said, with the offensive line and Drake May's development, this is not a 2024 team. The Patriots were not interested in Mathew Judon for this season. Or I'm sorry, they may have been interested in him for this season, but they weren't interested in having him on the team in their plans for 2025 and beyond. So instead of letting him sit here and rack up 10 sacks in a 4-win season, you get a third-round pick for him in the future, and you continue this rebuild. So it looks tough on the outside. Don't get me wrong, but and you don't want to hear patience either, but this is one where you're going to have to be a little bit more patient, I think.
All right, Mike. The third-round pick for Mathew Judon's a win, and I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over that.
Good.
I'm over it. Here's where I'm at. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Those are all Bill Belichick years.
Right.
Okay? They're all Bill Belichick years. I'm out. So those years, bury them. This is now a new regime this year. They still don't have an offensive line. They still don't have a number one wide receiver. Players still don't want to come to New England. I don't know if Gerard Mayo can coach. I don't know if Alex Van Pelt's the right guy. I don't know these things. And I'm going to tell you, The Crafts think they do. And that's my problem. For the last 5 years, they've had an opportunity to spend money and upgrade, and they haven't. So if you want to blame Bill Belichick for that, fine. But this offseason, they didn't go out and try to get the best tackle. They didn't go out and try to get the number one. Calvin Ridley was here, literally in the building. I'm at a point now where the Judon thing, I'm over. It's everything else they've had. But when you tell me a 2025 team, that's you up. You're basically allowing it. You're allowing them to suck, and I'm out on that.
So let's break that down then into two parts. And what you just said, I'm going to use that to outline this here. So from 2020 and beyond, right? 5 seasons or 4 seasons now is what you're saying, where post Tom Brady, they tried to rebuild it and they failed. What Bill Belichick did from Brady and beyond set them up to where they are today or heading into this offseason. So they don't have tackles because of the position that old regime put them in. They don't have wide receivers because of the position the old regime put them in. They don't have a franchise quarterback because of the decisions that Bill Belichick and whoever else was in that front office made. So now is the reset. That first whole, rebuild failed. This is a new rebuild. This is not still the first reset from Tom Brady.
This is not the first. This is not the first rebuild.
Is, Joe.
No, it's not the first rebuild. It's not
the second one.
Yes, this is the problem.
Yes. So still need time. They still need time for the second one.
You can't tell me that this team, who has the highest amount of salary cap space available, is doing everything they can. That's all. I feel like you're enabling the Patriots to suck in 2024 to look at them for 2025. Like that's enablement.
I don't think enabling is the right word, but I think it's not. This is not like they're slamming their head against the wall and doing the same thing over and over again. This is new. There's new people in place to make these decisions now. It is now Elliott Wolf in the front office. It is now Gerard Mayo as head coach. It is now Alex Van Pelt as OC. And you mentioned you don't know if they can coach. You don't know if they can make decisions. Exactly. We don't know that yet. So we need to let it play through. And so with what Wolf was handed in debilitated offensive line room and no wide receivers and no franchise quarterback, now they need to be able to take that and they need to be given the benefit of the doubt to rebuild this thing, to take it from the ground floor up. So could they have maybe spent a little bit more money on a tackle, right? Go get Jonah Williams instead of put Vidarian Lowe out there and, what they have right now. And instead of waiting on Caden Wallace and taking Jalen Polk, instead of taking Jalen Polk in the second round, they could have traded up for a tackle. Yes, of course. But then we could be sitting here right now and say Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma is their left tackle, right? Then the quarterbacks are blocked up, but then there's no wide receivers to get open. So it was a catch-22 anywhere you look because they had so many holes entering this year. They filled franchise quarterback, or at least they hope. They filled wide receiver with Javon Baker and Jalen Polk. They look good. The problem is they didn't attack tackle yet, and so that's why it starts from the offensive line, and now it's kind of still ground out or inside out from the tackle position, and that's why it still looks poor. Again, I'm not trying to enable this thing, but they need to be given a little bit more time, and I think next step is offensive line, which, if we'll get into it, has not looked good, and that's the reason they look so poor right now.
I understand that some teams have to take a step back to take a step forward.
Sure.
I get that. What I can't do anymore, though, I cannot sit here every night and do a show and have people tell me Drake May's not ready, because it's not Drake May who's not ready. It's the
100% agree with that, Joe.
Patriots that aren't ready. The Patriots aren't ready, and correct. I understand. Step back for a step forward, but it's just, if I may, Mike Kadlick, you're my guest tonight, so I apologize that I'm dominating the takes here, but
it's all good.
If the reported idea was that the Giants wanted Drake May to trade back, why not do it then? Trade back 2 picks, right? If you're going to redshirt a guy, get the next guy next year then. Do that and have another draft pick next year and try to make the team better.
If their plan is to redshirt, then they're just pushing it back another year.
But they got Brissett playing anyways, and they got Zappe playing anyways. They could go get the guy next year when they've helped themselves. This is what I mean. I don't want another person to tell me Drake May's not ready, because they don't know. Because how can they? Skaz brought this up because I want to give him credit for it. How can we evaluate Gerard Mayo or Elliott Wolf or even Drake May when everything sucks? When you go to a job, Mike, you've worked other jobs besides working in sports. How are you able to do? I can't do my job tonight because I don't have a call screener. But you know what I'm doing? I'm leaning on my guys, Skaz and Christina. I'm leaning on them. We can get it done because we're a group. We're a team. But the Patriots, they don't have anything to rely on. And the fact that they want to tell us guys aren't ready, no, it's their fault. They're not ready, and it's been a 5-year plan with 2 different regimes, and I just don't want to see them sit there. Okay, they just traded Gerard Mayo, right? What are they going to do with the money now? What are they going to do with the
Mathew
money?
Judon, but yeah.
Who did I say?
You said Gerard Mayo.
Whatever. They just traded Mathew Judon. What are they going to do with the money now?
Fired up.
I am fired up.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine on what they do with the money now. And I understand that part where, okay, you trade him, great. You don't have to pay him, great. But now use that money for something. Use that money, go get a tackle to at least numb the pain on the offensive line. Because, Joe, I agree with you on the front that it is, it's not a good situation that we can't even evaluate Drake May. You are 100% right in saying we don't know what we have in Drake May yet, because yesterday's practice against the Eagles was a disaster. It was an abject disaster, and everybody said it, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You could not evaluate anything at that practice because of how bad the offensive line played. There was 10-plus sacks in 11-on-11 periods. The 7-on-7s were okay, 1-on-1s don't really matter, but 11-on-11s, the Patriots offense was a disaster. But I will still push back on the fact that they shouldn't have drafted Drake May, because this whole thing with, the Packer way, right? I've mentioned that a lot, where Elliott Wolf comes from his father, Ron Wolf, the Packer way, and they take quarterbacks and they don't play them right away. And they've done it with Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre. They did it with Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers, and those turned out pretty good. Now, the pushback is, and I understand it, that, well, Jacoby Brissett isn't Aaron Rodgers and he's not Brett Favre, so why are you putting Drake May behind someone who's not as good as those guys? And I get it, but I also think that will speed up May's process a little bit, where there's going to be guys clamoring for Jacoby Brissett to sit, and there's going to be a little bit more pressure. And if you're sitting there at 0-4, well, it's like it's easier to say, well, we're 0-4, but we still have Aaron Rodgers, we're not sitting him, than it is to do Jacoby Brissett. Now, as far as Drake May goes, and your idea that they should have waited, I think, look, right now it's 2024, and you are, not just you, I mean you as Patriots fans, but you're yelling about the Mathew Judon trade, and you're yelling that this has taken too long. Well, if they waited on a quarterback and this front office still wanted to sit the quarterback, then you're going to be waiting an entire another year. And you could still be sitting here in 2026 yelling into the microphone at 98.5 The Sports Hub. So, it's kind of a catch-22 there. They liked Drake May. The reason they did not trade the pick to the Giants was because they liked Drake May enough. They needed their quarterback. They got their quarterback. I believe, you mentioned the rebuild, they still deserve the benefit of the doubt, because this is not the same rebuild. This is year one of a new rebuild, new regime. Give it a little bit of time. They need to address tackles. Don't get me wrong. They've done quarterback. They haven't put him in the best position, but that's why they're not letting him play just yet.
Mike Kadlick joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. He's from CLNS. What do you think Drake May does on Thursday night? I mean, clearly they don't care about preseason games. They care about joint practices. So,
right.
How much time does Drake May play?
Oh, man, Joe. I've gone back and forth on this since last week. I've gone back and forth on this in my own head since yesterday's practice, because there is two ways to look at it, where he needs the reps. Bill Belichick talked about it on Pat McAfee the other day, where, preseason is the time to get these guys reps, get the young guys reps. Bill Belichick also mentioned how joint practices are where the real work matters, because you can actually show your blitz disguises, and you can still run, your coverages and your trick plays, because they're not put it on game film. So preseason ends up being kind of vanilla, because you're going to run, too high. You're not going to slide to a different shell, because you're not going to, give the other team's game film, what have you. So, with Drake May, I actually think this is the perfect time for him to play and to get live reps, because not only will it be a little bit more of a vanilla defense, he can maybe get his feet under him, he can get some real good action out there and kind of, again, get some more confidence in. But Drake May's kind of calling card here is not only his ability to have a strong arm and put the ball in, accurate and far places on the field, but he extends plays. You watched him at North Carolina. You're a college football guy. A lot of the times Drake May was on the run and he was getting 5, 6, 7 yards with his legs, or he would break, a 30-yard run for a touchdown. Now, he's no Lamar Jackson, but his legs and his ability to extend plays are what made him a solid quarterback. You can't do that in joint practices. You can't do that in training camp, because Drake May is wearing a number 10 red jersey and he can't be touched. So, a lot of those sacks, even from yesterday, it could have been an extended play. May could have gotten 5 yards and, kind of shifted a tackle, what have you. So, long story short, I think getting him in the game tomorrow night is ideal to get his feet wet. However, I think the reason they didn't play him last week and the reason they're being so careful with him is the offensive line. The offensive line is very bad. You don't want to get him hurt. And so you're right. They've put themselves in a tough position. Long story short, I think May gets 3, 4, 5 drives tomorrow night. I think it's a little more than it was last Thursday, but I do not think it's going to be the 2.5 quarters, end of the first half, late into the end of the first half, into the second half type thing. I don't think they're going to, put him out there for that long because, again, that Eagles front, whether it's their first team, whether it's their second team, they're really dang good.
So just one more. I just wanted to double down. I'm not saying they should not have drafted Drake May 3 overall.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, if it was a J.J. McCarthy or a Drake May thing, I get that May probably had higher upside. I get it. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is there's so many holes. They drafted a kid just to not play him, and that doesn't make you better. And really, I don't think it makes it could make him better. And by the way, this is who he was at North Carolina. He played with a sucky team. He had one good wide receiver that they could barely get on the team because of eligibility issues. So, Drake May ran for his life last year. I just feel like it's a kind of a good transition to the Patriots. The Patriots need Drake May. The Patriots aren't helping Drake May, but maybe Drake May could help the Patriots is my big point.
I don't disagree with that take, and I think that's why we've been clamoring really to get him more reps with the first team and to at least see what this guy can bring because, get him on the field, see what happens. I really like that, Joe, that idea where he might not need the Patriots because he's really at this point now, Mathew Judon's gone. He is like the face of this franchise. Having never played a game, having played 7 preseason snaps right now. So it's all on him. If he's that good, let him go out there and sling it.
All right, man. How was I heard you did pretty well in the media flag football game.
All right. So here's the lowdown on the media flag football game. So me and Tom Curran were the captains and the quarterbacks of the two teams. And we were down 20-16 at halftime. And maybe it was 20-6. Man, I'm losing my mind. I think we were down 18-16 or something like that. But Chris Mason, Mass Live, who is a frequent guest on this show as well, he's in the rotation with, a couple of those guys. So the listeners know Chris Mason. He gets me for a safety. They go up 20-16, and then we get a stop. We're getting ready to go down. There's about 15 minutes left in the game. And CLNS Media's producer, Amit, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Amit out there, but unfortunately celebrates, goes down, and dislocates his knee, and we had to call the game.
Wow.
So that was it. They're calling it a win. Curran's on early edition saying that they won, but there was still 15 minutes left, and we were going to go down, we were going to score, and we were going to win that football game. But
to a gambler, it's not a complete game.
Exactly. No contest. No contest, Joe.
Yep.
I threw 2 touchdowns, though.
There you go.
Let's go. On the Gillette Stadium field, baby.
I know. Jeez. Only took how many years to do that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you might have had more touchdowns than Drake May because they don't want him to play.
This is true. As of right now, I've thrown more touchdowns at Gillette Stadium than Drake May has.
Wow. That's sad.
Hopefully that changes tomorrow night.
That is sad. No, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. But you know what? Good for you. Real quick, before I let you go.
Yeah.
Who is the best player on the New England Patriots?
Oh, boy. It's got to be Jabril Peppers, I think. And we talked about the Madden ratings. You texted me about that, and I sent it over. And he is number 2 behind Mathew Judon. But, man, it's either Mike Onwenu or Jabril Peppers. Maybe Hunter Henry. But Hunter Henry is...
Vomit.
Yeah, it's not good. There's
Vomit.
not a lot of talent on this team.
Vomit. So, again, do you see why I will... we could line up anybody. I will argue with them constantly. Because you know how many people I heard yesterday say, it was... Like you just said, it was bad yesterday. Well, duh, it's bad. You're going up against the Eagles, one of the best teams in the NFL. Like, that's how far apart they are. But how can you really evaluate anything? And now I'm at the point where it's like, yeah, Drake May needs a lot of work, but like now we got these guys telling us these guys don't know anything. Like, and by the way, the Falcons Patriots trade is a win for both teams. By the way, I think
I would agree.
I think both teams won, but in the end, Atlanta looks like a genius. In their offseason, they signed a free agent and drafted a quarterback in the first round. They went with Raheem Morris because they need defensive help, but they got the offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson, who passed up the Pats job. So they turned down Belichick, got who they got the quarterback and a quarterback in the draft, and now just acquired one of the best available pass rushers for $6.5 million for a third-round pick. Like, but who knows what team knows what they're doing?
Are you actually of the mindset that the Penix pick was a good move at that time with them?
Don't care. They're going for it.
They're not going for it if they drafted a quarterback at 8. They just signed their quarterback for 4 years.
They have a guy in waiting when Cousins is done. The Patriots never had a guy. This is the point about the 5 years. They never had another guy after Tom Brady. Oh, my God. I'm going to lose my mind.
They botched it, Joe. They botched.
How can you say Atlanta botched it then? They didn't.
Because if they're going to try
why they have a guy in waiting.
But they're in.
The Patriots never had a guy in waiting. They've had 2 now. We don't even know if the other one can't play because the Patriots aren't ready.
I still think they should have went edge rusher and really filled that team out. Go there, get a Super Bowl, and then.
Yes, but guess what? They just gave up a third-round pick for an edge rusher instead of using it on a first-round pick.
That's a good point.
Oh, Mike.
I don't hate that.
Oh, Mike, we could do this all night.
I want to end with this. The Patriots botched rebuild number 1. They made their decision. They got rid of Bill Belichick. They hired Gerard Mayo and Elliott Wolf. Give them more than the 6 or 7, 8 months they've had. Give it a little bit of time. This is a 2025 and beyond team. Trust the process until you can't anymore, Joe. That's
enable. Enable. You're letting the Crafts off the hook.
I really.
You should use that as a headline. CLNS. Crafts letting Patriots off hook.
But why? Tell me how I'm
they have the most cap space in the league and haven't upgraded
They spent money this offseason, Joe.
They hired guys. They brought back guys that are either end of the roster guys or middling
What'd they pay them, Joe? They paid them money.
I don't care.
They spent money on them.
Yeah, they still have the most cap space available.
There's still time to make moves.
Oh, they're going to make a move? That's what I asked you. I asked you that question already. What are they going to do with the money?
That's an Elliott Wolf question, Joe.
Mike, I'm telling you, man, this is not a good look for the Crafts. Take the Patriots out of it. Sure, give Mayo and Wolf a time. I'll give them the time. The Crafts have had plenty of time.
So I think they waited too long on Bill then. Or you think they waited too long on Bill then? Because they made their decision.
Yeah.
And they made the decision. Now they put new people in place and they're trusting them to do their job.
And now they're okay with sucking.
I think when they weren't okay with sucking for 2 years, they said they wanted to make the playoffs 3 years in a row. They they bit their tongue for too long because it was Bill Belichick, and now here we are. And now I don't think you can as the Crafts, as an organization, I don't think you can realistically expect a new GM, a new front office, a new head coach to rebuild what they were handed by Bill Belichick in 8 months.
I think they could have spent.
I don't disagree, but I think you still need to give it a little bit more
at least
time.
In 2021, they spent on all those guys and made the playoffs. Might not have been right, but guess what?
Right.
They went to the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
And some of those guys all got re-signed this offseason. One of them just got traded today.
Yep.
All right, what are you eating for dinner?
I had tacos, actually.
Oh, did you make them at home or did you get them?
Yeah, we made them at home.
I like that, the little old El Paso mix.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
With the
a little El Paso mix, a little taco sauce, lettuce, tomato.
And it comes with the hard and soft shell tacos?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I like to put my tortilla on the stove and flip it and let it burn that way.
You know what I do sometimes is you take the hard the hard taco shell, make it, and then you put a soft tortilla on the outside, and then you have hard. Yeah, good stuff.
That's really good stuff. All right, this was heated, Mike. I liked it.
It's okay. This is good conversation. This is why I love coming on this show. This is good stuff.
We have 165 people watching on YouTube.
Love it.
That are commenting.
Is the call screen filled up, guys?
It's still not working. We have 5 computers and no call screen.
Love it. Love it. Well, good luck tonight, Joe.
Hey.
I hope people keep calling.
All right, Mike. We'll talk soon. Remember that headline I said?
I gotcha.
You'll get a lot of clicks.
I'm sure.
All right. He's Mike Kadlick.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Thanks,
This was
buddy.
fun.
Enjoy the game tomorrow.
You got it.
All right. He's Mike Kadlick, everybody. CLNS. We got to go to break. I'm late. I'm Joe Murray.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Developing situation over at Fenway Park. 7-7 right now. Bottom of the ninth. We'll let you know what happens there. One other thing I wanted to mention, because we got in or out coming up in a minute. We have had our highest night of viewers on YouTube. This is what happens when you trade the best player on the team. So thank you for everybody who's listening and watching and joining. But when the team trades away their best player, you get a reaction. My reaction is triggered from everything else. I like the trade, actually. It's good for both sides. But I'm triggered about everything else. And it looks like you guys are too. So we got in or out. We'll do that coming up next. I'm Joe Murray. And again, this hour of the sports has been brought to you by Valvoline and Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your next drive-through oil change at Valvoline and Oil Change. Now open in Rainham, Reading, and Braintree. I'm Joe Murray. Talk to you after this.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Patriots and Eagles will play in a preseason game tomorrow. Red Sox losing right now in the 10th inning, 9-7, and they had a 7-4 lead. But Josh Winkowski gave up 3 earned. So that wasn't good. Still 9-7. Headlines, they are brought to you by MIFA, providing resources to help you plan for college. Info at MIFA, MEFA.org. I'm Joe Murray. It's time for In or Out.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
So I feel bad. Maybe they'll move you too.
I'll be on the afternoon show tomorrow.
All right, there we go. It's not just me. All right, what do we got tonight? In or out?
All right, Joe. A world we venture into often, the world of food, Joe, is where we will start with In or Out. Two major brands, I should say, are collaborating, Joe. Oreo and Coca-Cola are launching an Oreo-flavored Coke Zero and a Coke-flavored Oreo cookie. Joe Murray, are you in or out?
Okay, I've been thinking about this one for a little bit. Most people dip their Oreo in ice cream. Or in milk. I'm sorry, milk. I have dipped my Oreo in Coca-Cola.
You have?
Oh, yeah. You have to understand, I am I'm a survivor of soda.
A soda survivor.
I'm a soda survivor. I no longer drink soda. It was very bad. Believe it or not, I lost like over 70 pounds. I quit soda, bread. What else did I quit? I feel like I quit something else. Now I eat pizza. I to lose all that weight, I literally had to torture myself. But no soda. I've held off 40, 50 pounds. Soda was my biggest issue. I mean, I'm drinking an Arnold Palmer right now, which I know has sugar in it, but I'm not torturing myself.
Yeah, you need a little sugar.
That's what I
once in a while.
I'm not torturing. But I will tell you, I have definitely dipped an Oreo in Coca-Cola, and I'm in. So, would I want to drink it, though? I think I'd try it. I think I'm in.
Joe Murray, we'll try anything once.
Except for lettuce.
You've tried lettuce.
I have tried lettuce. I told you I had celery 2 days in a row. But I have dipped Oreo
that are left in Coca-Cola for extended periods of time.
I think that's what happened to my gut.
Cola gut? You had some cola
I had
gut?
a cola gut. That could be a funny bit.
I think the Red Sox are suffering from some cola gut right now.
Yeah. All right, what else we got tonight?
All right, Joe, this is one that has been in Slack all week that we just haven't got to our inner fragrance, partnered with Will Levis, called Parfum de Mayonnaise, Joe. Parfum de Mayonnaise. You'd have to assume, and I know we get in trouble when we do that it is a mayonnaise-scented perfume. I would hope not, but that certainly seems to be what it looks like. So, Joe Murray, are you in or out on the Hellman's mayonnaise?
This. And the camera. So, I'm ball man with the camera. When I make a sandwich, what I do now is I get a nice little pita, cut it. I get my turkey and my cheese. I get my Hellman's. But when I open my Hellman's, do you know what the first thing I do is? I sniff it.
So, Joe, I'm kind of with you on this one. This is kind of a weird thing out on it. It's just something I do. Like, I got to sniff something before I eat it. I don't know why. Just make sure it's all right, I guess. I have no idea. So I'm kind of with you on that one.
I'm definitely smirking at you right now. But I do it too.
Yeah, it's like a weird reflex.
Now, what I don't like is, well, I don't like when people touch body parts and then smell it.
I'm not touching that one.
The mayonnaise, and I smell it. If it smells good, I use it. I smell milk. Do you smell milk?
I don't drink milk, but yeah. I mean, I guess I would if I was going to drink. Milk, you got to smell.
I mean, what? I guess, now that I think about it, what do I sniff before I eat?
Christina says deli meats, you got to give them a whiff before you make sure they're all right.
Ones that come pre-sliced.
Yeah, you peel the top back.
But
yeah,
sometimes they're like $4, maybe a little bit more. You can just buy the Cabot block of cheese for $1.99. So sometimes what I do is I cut up the cheese slices and put them in a bag. When I open the bag, I sniff.
I think we're going to have some drops from this segment, Joe.
I don't know if I want to sniff mayonnaise. Like, I don't want to walk by somebody and smell like mayo.
I don't think you want to be the mayo guy around the office either. Be like, oh, there's Joe. Yeah, so he's wearing his mayonnaise perfume again.
Joe's here. I really want a turkey and cheese.
I am out on the Hellman's mayonnaise. Cologne, I think
I'm out on it. Wow. I went down a real rabbit hole there, huh? I sniffed. This is a different mic. Wow, it sounds better on this mic, doesn't it? The sniffing sounds much. This is Zoe's mic, huh? This is Zoe's mic. And yes, if I do get a big bag of grass, I'm definitely sticking my face in it. Just like Harold and Kumar.
Was the chat curious about that?
Yeah.
I had a feeling that came from the chat.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Joe, we'll stick with food for this one. Cinnabon, a place we're all very familiar with.
Yeah.
Cinnabon is making new cinnamon rolls topped with Warhead sour candy. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Cinnabons topped with Warheads?
Out. Now, I used to eat Warheads when I played at Parkway Little League. We used to get they were like $4 for $1, right? That's what they were. That was like what we did. We used to eat Warheads as kids. Or those fireballs, you know? But you know, my Cinnabon, I want my Cinnabon. I want my cinnamon. I want my cinnamon. I don't want Warhead. I want cinnamon. Oh, and I love when you layer it. I licked the spoon on that one. Out. I don't want Warheads.
All right, Joe. We'll head to the New York Post for this one. Always an interesting place. But today they released the Farmer's Almanac predictions for our upcoming winter. The Farmer's Almanac predicted that the Northeast would have a very tough winter with numerous snowstorms. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Farmer's Almanac predictions?
They haven't been right over the last couple of years.
According to a University of Illinois study, the Almanac is only 52% accurate.
If you were betting, that's actually kind of a decent percentage. You probably still lose, though. I'm out, but you know what? I share this story, but one of the reasons I got out of the car business years ago was because in 2015 or 14, it was over President's Day. So, I'm out. But we're going to get slammed.
Allegedly.
Oh, we're going to, according to them, we're going to get slammed. So call your roofing company. I have friends if you need a roofer. I know a guy. A gal, actually. But get your ice dams fixed. We're going to get slammed this year. Get that plow.
All right, Joe, this is one you put in Slack earlier today, and that is one Carmelo Anthony. I believe this upset Mad Dog Russo and Stephen A. But Carmelo Anthony said that he wouldn't trade his Olympic gold medals for an NBA title. Joe Murray, are you in or out?
First off, idiot take. Dumb, stupid, idiotic, whatever. Dumb. One of the first interviews I ever did in my life at 1510 The Zone. I got Dominique Wilkins on the air. Had a chance to talk to Dominique Wilkins, Hall of Famer. I asked him, you won a gold medal. What was the number one regret? Not winning a championship. If Carmelo Anthony is fine with not winning a championship, you suck, and you've always sucked. And you know what? You're the poster child of suck. Out.
And I don't want to take Carmelo's side at all because I am with you. But could his argument be he's not going to trade all the, like, maybe he would trade a medal for a title, but trading all three of them? I believe he has 3 or 4 gold medals for a title. I can kind of understand that a little bit.
So he's got 4. He'd give one up for a title?
Fine. If that was his argument.
How about all 4 for a title? Say that!
I want to agree with you there, but I think this is because we're the U.S., Joe, because the United States has been so dominant at the Olympics. We almost view it as lesser than, because it's just such a formality that the U.S. is going to win gold in basketball. I don't think, I wonder from an international perspective, how someone like Jokic would view winning a gold medal for Serbia, or Wembanyama would view one, winning it for France. I think because we're the U.S., we've almost... And it sounds weird to say, but we've downgraded what the gold medal is because of the success of the U.S. men's national team.
Out. Carmelo, no. He gets no passes because he doesn't pass.
There you go, Joe. I was right behind you on that one. All right, Joe, another one. I think you put this in Slack right before the show started, but that would be that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to do their own version of Hard Knocks this year.
In.
Joe Murray.
In. Oh, no, I'm in for this. Riley Leonard's going to be their quarterback. He was at Duke last year. He's going to be projected to be probably a mid-round quarterback. But Notre Dame has a chance to run the table and make the playoff. I don't know if they will. They got a tough schedule. I think Oregon's on their schedule. But no, they could. They have to replace their running back in some other position. But I don't love their coach, but I think they're on track. I mean, last year, Sam Hartman was a little bit of a letdown for them. I think Riley Leonard's a better... Oh, what are you smiling at?
Fantasy football drama, Joe. It's already started. Laughing to myself.
You know what, though? If you're going to have nostalgia over a college program, it's Notre Dame. If you're going to do first, you got to go them. They're an independent school. They don't have anybody else in their division.
Don't you think it'll be really well done too, because it is Notre Dame
and the NBC component and everything else? There.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mike Tirico will probably be a part. Doug Flutie, I think, has been. So I just think it'll be really well done. You'll get you'll probably see Joe Montana and all that kind of stuff, throwbacks.
Oh yeah,
history, everything like that. Brady Quinn will probably talk, and you'll be like, oh yeah, he played that.
Brady Quinn.
That's right, him.
Great spiral.
Maybe Manti Te'o will be on there,
and his girlfriend.
That's right. I still think it was I think they should retire his number. A former morning host here did not like that take when I said that.
That's all I got, Joe.
That's all I got, too. In or out? How's your last in or out, Christina?
Christina's last in or out?
Well, she can always join us in the chat.
Absolutely. Saw Bryson in there earlier. He's always stopping by.
That's one thing I will say about all the interns that we have. They all still hang out.
I think that's good, Joe.
Bryson texted me today.
Yeah. Kevin texted me today. Said he didn't like the Judon trade.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Some guy's like, Murray's the worst, blaming Kraft for the Judon trade. No. I like the trade. What are they going to do with the money? I've seen, Skaz, we're going to talk to Brian Barrett. I've seen 5 articles from local writers that have used the narrative, not going to win this year, but look for time in 2025.
The narrative, Joe?
The narrative.
Not a chronicle? A narrative.
Well, what is it now?
Narratives are dangerous, Joe. We've learned that.
They were told this to report it. I know it. They're going to suck. They've had 2 different rebuilds. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
Suspect.
It is super suspect.
Might have to bring the suspect list back, Joe.
I know.
It was hanging up on the wall back here for a while. I don't think it's still there.
Got taken down. Well, it also got changed over to overtime. We got to go to break. Oh, do we already do the headline? Okay. We're going to talk to Brian Barrett of The Ringer. Red Sox just ended, and we'll talk about the Judon trade next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray.
All right, back here, 98.5, the Sports Hub. I'm Joe Martin. We got musings at the end of the hour, in or out. We already did. But let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline right now. We'll welcome in Brian Barrett of The Ringer. Brian, I guess we should start with the news of the day is Mathew Judon traded away to Atlanta for a third-round pick. I think it's a win for both teams. They get their pass rusher. Patriots got a third-round pick. But I don't know. I feel like this trade has just opened up other triggers for me to be upset about where they're at right now. And so I don't know. I guess how do you feel about the trade, and do you feel differently about the team after the trade?
Well, first and foremost, I would just say that now we know the 2024 Patriots, they are completely embracing the rebuild. Gerard Mayo said it's not about wins and losses in 2024 just a couple of weeks ago, and clearly they were serious about that. And you just think about it. He's one of their, or was, I should say, past tense, one of their three best defensive players with Christian Barmore, who, of course, is dealing with the blood clot situation, and Christian Gonzalez, who has only played in a couple of NFL games. Those are your three best defensive players. You just traded Judon away. And Judon, if you look at it, in 2023, the Patriots were 27th in sacks with 36. In 2022, they were tied for third with 54 because Judon had 15.5 sacks. So I just don't know unless Keon White is really going to take a step forward in year two. I just don't know where the pass rush is coming from. We saw Uche's production really tail off last year without Judon there. So I can understand in some sense, like wanting to rebuild. I just don't understand how, A, they just couldn't do something. And look, if he gets this huge deal from the Falcons with multi-years, okay, we'll look at that and say the Patriots are never going to give him that. But I'm surprised that it got to this point, Joe, where if you knew that he was never going to be happy with whatever it was you were willing to offer him, then why wasn't this trade made around the draft? That's what I can't comprehend about this whole thing is why wouldn't you get more draft picks as you're trying to rebuild last year at the draft or prior to the draft? And I get it. You're going to have a third-round pick to use in next year's upcoming draft, and this team still has a lot of holes to fill. But you could have used that on maybe another tackle, maybe another cornerback, and you can do all that stuff next year as well. But it just feels like in the whole thing with him and Mayo, like when he was upset when he was back at Foxborough that day, I just think the whole thing has been handled poorly. With all that being said, I don't think, considering where we're at, I don't think a third-round pick for a guy coming off a biceps tear is something to sneeze about. I think that's relatively good value for the Patriots. But I don't know, at some point, he's one of your best players, and it's like, to me, for this to happen this late, it's just, I don't think it sends the right message to the team. And not that the Patriots care. I don't think it sends the right message to the fan base either at this point. We could understand it if they did this months ago, but the fact that they did it right before the season, to me, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to really put it in other terms, he was the face of the franchise, right? He was the face of the franchise. They got a top 100 pick, so I'm fine with that. It was an expiring deal. I think Atlanta makes out huge in this deal, right? They got ridiculed for taking Michael Penix, but now they get that impact pass rusher for a third-round pick. Big win for them, and let's also look at what happened this offseason with them. They turned down Bill Belichick, took Morris and Zach Robinson. They're going to roll now. They also signed a free agent quarterback and drafted the next one. It just seems like they know what they're doing, while the Patriots, to your point, here they are after a joint practice with one of the best teams in the league, realize they're going to suck, and then just traded them off for a third-round pick. It's like they waved the white flag after practice yesterday against the Eagles.
Yeah, you can convince me it's the right thing to do, to move on from Mathew Judon. To me, it's just like the timing is terrible on all this, right? And they talked about this whole offseason. I get they're going to say the right things, but Mayo, Covington, they all talked about how much they like Judon, and then this happens right before the season. So if you want to tell me it's the right move to move on from Mathew Judon, totally can understand that. I just feel like the messages and the timing of this was completely wrong. They should have done this weeks ago, and this actively hurts your 2024 team. And like we all know that this has not been the greatest training camp for the Patriots. We'll see what they look like on Thursday night. Obviously, the offensive line got beat up by the Eagles in training in that joint practice the other day. But you were about to enter the season, and the team thought they were going to have Mathew Judon. It just, to me, this isn't 2014 when they're trading away Logan Mankins and you're bringing in Wright, and you know you're a Super Bowl contender either way. This is just, you're trading away one of the best players on your football team right prior to the season. From Atlanta's perspective, you're right. I mean, I think it's an outstanding move for them. You look at that division, obviously it's wide open. They upgraded at the quarterback position, and they have Zach Robinson there calling plays. It's going to be a McVay-style offense. Bijan Robinson could explode in year 2. I mean, I took Drake London in the snake draft. I took him the first pick of the 3rd round because I just think he's going to be targeted a ton. And now the one real question mark with that team defensively is, hey, do you have enough to rush the passer? And Raheem Morris is a good defensive coach. Like, he's a good defensive mind. I mean, they'll figure something out there. But, yeah, the more and more we get closer to the season, and maybe tomorrow night Drake May will light up the Eagles defense or something and it'll look the part. But, man, I'm not really looking forward to football season right now, especially considering it doesn't feel, obviously, like Drake May is going to start the season. It's going to be Jacoby Brissett. So, really, what am I looking forward to watching on Sundays with this Patriots team?
Talking to Brian Barrett of The Ringer, joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. You mentioned Drake May. Every single person that we have on our station or on this show will tell you how bad things are or how not ready Drake May is. And I was talking to Skaz about this tonight, but how can we evaluate anything with the Patriots with what they have? How do we evaluate what Gerard Mayo is? How do we know what Alex Van Pelt is? And quite frankly, how can we listen to any of them when it comes to Drake May not being ready? Like, Drake May played in an offense like this at North Carolina with a bad offensive line and weapons and things like that. So every time I hear, oh, he's a long ways away or he's not ready, it's not Drake May that's not ready. It's the Patriots, since Tom Brady has left, are still not ready to play football. Like, that's embarrassing. I just don't want to hear any more Drake May. They're going to redshirt him, and I'm fine with it. I don't think he needs to play to develop. But just don't tell me he's not ready when the Patriots aren't ready.
Well, and I think, to your point, that's why he didn't play much. And I would say this, maybe Jacoby Brissett would have got 2 series. But that's the reason he didn't play much in the game the other night, last Thursday. I don't think, like they said, that this was the plan. He was only going to play 1 series. I think they're really worried about their offensive line right now. I mean, you think about it. Vadarian Lowe is getting the reps as the first-team left tackle. Vadarian Lowe ranks second to last among tackles in terms of PFF grades. And I'm not telling you that's the be-all, end-all, but it kind of indicates what we saw. He's not a good player, right? You have Okorafor that you got from Pittsburgh, a guy that Pittsburgh didn't want anymore. Of course, he got benched last year because he criticized Matt Canada. That may have been the right move, but he's really never been a left tackle. He's been a right tackle, and then you drafted Wallace. So this tackle situation has been an issue for 2 years now, more than that, really. But also, if you think about it from this perspective, remember, the only reason that the Patriots have Vadarian Lowe is because Riley Reif got injured before the season last year because they pushed him from tackle to guard, and he's been a tackle his whole career, and he ends up getting injured. So you can't protect the quarterbacks right now. I mean, Andrew Callahan had the stat the other day. They were basically sacked on a fifth of their dropbacks in the joint practice against the Eagles. And look, I know that in a typical NFL game, Drake may even mention the fact that you can scramble, but the point is, your offensive linemen are getting beat badly. I mean, I think they really have to look in the mirror and figure out what they're going to do with that group. I don't know how you go into the season with Lowe as the left tackle. I was talking to Doug Hyde the other day. Maybe what you do is you put Onwenu out at right tackle. You've already paid him. You've given him the extension. He's your best offensive lineman. He can clearly play right tackle. And then maybe you put Okorafor as your left tackle. But I don't know how you can put Lowe there. And maybe eventually it's Wallace. But this thing is a mess, and we've known this. Like, the 3 biggest needs for the Patriots in the offseason were a number 1 receiver. They tried to do that, although I thought it was embarrassing that Gerard Mayo admitted when we're good, we'll get players. But they tried to do that. I was never a Ridley guy, but they tried to go after Ayuk. And look, Baker has shown flashes in camp, and Polk looks like a stud. And I'm not saying he's going to be a number 1, but he looks like he should be a starter to enter the season. So at least they've tried there. They've gone after the quarterback position. They drafted Drake May. What have they done to address the tackle situation? They drafted a kid that plays right tackle. I'm not saying Wallace is a bad pick. It's just this is a gaping hole that they haven't fixed. And the most important thing about this whole season, or about this whole franchise going forward, is Drake May. And if you can't feel comfortable putting him out there because of the offensive line, that's just an utter embarrassment. Like, are they going to have to go after one of these guys that's just sitting out there that hasn't signed with the team? Is that actually better than what you have right now?
Bakhtiari or...
Yeah, and he knows Elliott Wolf, obviously, from the Green Bay days.
Yeah. I'm going to keep pointing to the fact that the Patriots just aren't ready. They're not ready to play football. And, oh, well, Drake May's not ready. And I'm fine with May not playing. I really am. I think he can develop without playing at all. But I just, to kind of hammer the point is, look what just happened in Minnesota, right? J.J. McCarthy gets hurt. They were excited for him. He got hurt in a preseason game. Well, in practice, Jordan Addison gets carted off today. So, their two youngest players that are a big impact for what they're going to do are hurt for what? One looked good in the preseason game, then they both get hurt in practice. It's just, I don't think May has to play, and maybe if they are being overprotective, fine, but they're being overprotective because they're not ready. It's not that Drake May is not ready.
Yeah, and I think that's the embarrassing thing about all this. And I do think when you look at this and you look at their schedule to start the season, it's a bear. There's a reason that FanDuel has them at plus 320 to have the fewest wins. You look at it. I mean, they play the Bengals, then they play the Seahawks, who are 10th in offensive EPA per play. They play the Jets with Rodgers and Breece Hall back, the Niners, the Dolphins, Houston, Stroud coming off that season. They add Diggs, right? You get the Jags in London. We'll see what they look like with Lawrence. And then the Jets again. There's a real chance that we're looking at, isn't it more likely that this is a 1-7 team to start the season, especially now after this Judon trade, than a 3-5 season? And I also think about this, and not that the Patriots are, maybe they do care about this. Bill Belichick's going to be doing 4 shows a week, right? If you count the Underdog, the Inside the NFL, the Manning Cast, and all these different things that he's doing. You got Brady on Fox NFL. Those guys are going to be bigger storylines than the Patriots, and the Patriots are going to be a laughing stock. To me, it's unbelievable how they continually are not, at this point, they're not prepared to enter the season with their offensive line. I'm fine, with the young receiver thing, but this offensive line being such a mess, and then right before the season deciding you're going to trade your best pass rusher, this should have been stuff you did, the Judon thing. I can't fathom the timing of the situation. I will say, though, in terms of the Drake May stuff, I want to see him at some point this year. You got to get him an opportunity at some point this season just to see what he can do. But I don't think you can, even if he was better than Brissett right now, could you put him out there? And Brissett's had the better camp. I'm not arguing that, but could you even put him out there? Wouldn't you be worried about him with this offensive line? Jacoby Brissett's going to make $8 million and take a lot of hits for making that $8 million.
All right, Brian, I know we just saw the end of the Red Sox game there. So they had a 7-4 lead. I don't know why Chris Martin got one batter. Maybe you can explain that to me, but this was a really bad loss tonight if you want to look at just, the All-Star break and everything that's happened. But they've lost games in extra innings, and it's been bad, right? The Dodgers up 4-3. Colorado lost 9-8, remember, in 10 innings. That Yankees game hurt. And then tonight against Texas, Dodgers, Yankees, Texas, Colorado, one bad team. Texas is what it is, but those are 4 bad losses that could come back to hurt them.
Yeah, well, and it feels like to me, this bullpen now, which we are hoping, hey, maybe after the trading deadline, and I like the additions they made, maybe after the trading deadline this can be a strength because we knew that the starters were on fumes, right? I mean, you just look at it. Since the All-Star break, the Red Sox have the worst ERA in Major League Baseball from a pitching staff perspective. That counts everything. But then if you look at just the relievers, right, Garcia now has given up an earned run in 5 of his 6 appearances, gave out the bomb to Garcia tonight on a sweeper that was just a bad pitch. It was not located whatsoever. Now, to the Martin point, what I think, and I haven't heard what Alex Score said after the game about that, Martin is just coming back from the injury. He got the out, and you had the 3-run lead. So I think they thought they were good there. So I think that was more about he came in, he got the critical out, and then when they go to the bullpen there, Winkowski, he gives up a bomb with 2 outs and 2 strikes with Langford. It's just a cement mixer, right? And then Kelly on a cutter, middle, gives up a home run there later on there. So when you just look, and that was the extra innings one, this bullpen is now in the last 6 games. So this is going back to the start of the Houston series. They've given up 28 earned runs. 28 earned runs in 6 games. And I understand you had an injury with the Paxton situation, but Sims has not been good since getting traded here. Garcia has not been good since getting traded here. Kelly has been an absolute disaster as of late. This is now 3 straight appearances where he's given up an earned run. Really, right now, the only 2 guys that you can trust in the bullpen are Martin and Jansen. So this thing is now turned into a mess in terms of the relievers. Like, the Red Sox still have one of the best offenses in all of Major League Baseball. You're up 7-4. You should be able to win this game. And I will say this, too. There's some sloppy defense there, too, where Hamilton makes an error that allows a run to score. So it was just sloppy ever since they took that lead. I thought the game was over, quite frankly, and the Red Sox just couldn't finish it. And I know they take 2 of 3 from Texas, but this is a missed opportunity. The way you look at it, you're in this wild card race trying to get in there with Kansas City. You're trying to chase down Kansas City, who, if you're telling me, hey, they're playing Kansas City in a series, I would take the Red Sox to beat Kansas City because we've seen those two play this year. The Red Sox hit them really well with all those right-handed pitchers, but that's not how it works. You got to chase this team down in the wild card situation, and this is a win right there for you before you play 4 against a Baltimore team who has not played its best lately, but that's a Baltimore team we know is second in Major League Baseball in home runs against righties and second in slugging percentage against righties, and you're going to throw a bunch of righties against them over the next 4 days. Like, it would have been really important to get this last win against a Rangers team that you had beat, and the Red Sox bullpen again couldn't hold it down, and this pitching staff has given up the most home runs since the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. They are leaking oil, and I'm encouraged by what we saw from Bayo last start. Houck, I don't really buy too much into this one. I thought that he was really lucky, like the process was not great in this one, but you don't have a lot of faith with this pitching group. And we're going to see, like, what if Pivetta comes out and he's throwing 91, 92 again after getting skipped? Like, then what do you really do? Like, the Paxton situation is a mess for this team. I can't believe I'm saying, like, Paxton is a critical injury to this team, but it certainly is.
Yeah, it was a tough one tonight. We're watching it live, and I couldn't believe they lost. 7-4. I thought the game was over. And another tough one tonight. Baltimore. Go ahead, yeah. Baltimore is on deck, too, so that's not easy.
Yeah. Well, and I was just going to say, too, like, Rafael Devers, if you look at him tonight and you look at all the swings that he took, he doesn't look comfortable. Like, it looks like, because remember, they gave him a day off on Sunday, the final game of the Astros series, where they got swept. That's basically the last time he got a day off is basically when they gave him the week off earlier in April, and he was one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. And I know that he comes up with a couple of hits in that game on Tuesday night, but every time he took a big swing in this game tonight, you could tell that something was bothering him with that shoulder. I mean, he's hitting just 244 prior to tonight's game in August. And if you look at from the 24th of April through basically the end of July, 323, fourth in average. His slugging percentage was only behind Judge, and his OPS was only behind Judge and Juan Soto. And he's hitting 244 this month. There's a reason they gave him the day off. They want to try to win that game on Sunday, right? They have to give him the day off because I think the shoulder's barking again. Remember, he didn't go to the All-Star game with the shoulder situation. I know that he's dealt with the knee situation as well. He doesn't look right. And when he was swinging tonight, every time after he'd take a big cut, it looked like something was bothering him. So that's another thing where, oh, yeah, your best hitter is now dealing with something, and we'll see how it looks tomorrow. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another day off in this Orioles series because he does not look right physically.
All right, Brian. Appreciate you, bro. I know we have a lot going on tonight. That's why I texted you. I'm like, hey, we got Sox, we got this, and who knew? It all just kind of ended at once. So it was perfect timing to have you on. I know you got your Off the Pike podcast. You're doing things, my man. I appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if Drake May plays more tomorrow night than Tatum played in that semifinal game. I would hope so.
Oh, yeah, maybe we can put a bet on that one tonight, Skaz. That'd be fun. It's funny, Mike. We had Mike Kadlick on earlier from CLNS, and he basically said he threw 2 touchdowns in the media day game yesterday, which is 2 more touchdowns than Drake May.
Wow, yeah, that's true. I saw somebody. I had Doug Hyde on my pod, and he's telling me somebody. I think it was somebody from CLNS, dislocated their kneecap.
Yeah, man.
That's not good.
Yeah, well, that's very popular to have a media game and then someone gets carted off in an ambulance.
They had to end the game I think the guy's fine, right? So I can joke around about this, but they had to end the media game.
Happened to Maz.
Oh, did it really?
Maz blew out his Achilles.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
Covering Dana Barros.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sounds like quite the challenge.
I know, huh?
Dana Barros. I always fear. Do you ever fear the Achilles? I just think,
no. But I've had that plantar fascia where it's like I think I tore my Achilles, but then they tell you it's plantar fasciitis, and I'm like, it feels like my Achilles. But no,
Yeah.
can still move though.
Yeah, the Achilles just seems frightening.
Yeah, I don't want to be hopped up. That'd be the worst. I'd go crazy. I could do takes from a hospital bed though.
Yeah, you could pull it off. I mean, at least you could still work, right?
That's true. I just got to dial.
As long as it's not like an arm, you don't. Yeah, I mean, you need your fingers to type, right? So as long as you don't break an arm or something.
That's true. All right, he's Brian Barrett. Check him out, everybody, over at The Ringer. Brian, appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it. He's Brian Barrett. Check him out. The Ringer does an awesome job there. He's got a lot of guests. And we have to take a break. We'll tell you what happened in that Red Sox game. And what did the Patriots get from Mathew Judon? We'll tell you next here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Patriots.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. We'll get more into the Patriots preseason game tomorrow. I got some things I'm looking forward to. I think I've been triggered by the Mathew Judon trade. I like the trade for the Patriots. I like the trade for the Falcons. Both teams won. It's a fair trade. So I like it. The problem is that it's triggered everything else for me. It's triggered everything else. They are literally tanking the season. They know they're not going to be good. They're going to redshirt Drake May. And everyone's going to tell you, hey, got to take a step back to take a step forward. And I just think that sucks. That sucks. They've had 5 years to work on the team. 5 years. 5 years. 5 years. But they'll tell you Drake May is not ready. The Patriots aren't ready. Right now, caller number 10 to the contest line. We'll score a pair of tickets to the sold-out first WNBA game to be played at TD Garden on August 20th with the Connecticut Sun. Register now for their free youth sports festival on the 17th at the New Balance track. Visit sun.nba.com/youth-sports-festival. And caller number 10 right now to 617-931-0985. That is our contest line. So we got musings, Murray's musings, and we may have someone who has contacted the chicken lady. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub. Del Murray on the Sports Hub.
So, I saw this on TMZ. Everyone knows Chris Jones, right? Guy got a big contract. Kansas City Chiefs, one of their best defenders. Chris Jones is gunning to spring a convicted chicken wing thief from prison. The Chiefs superstar is offered to pay $1.5 million after a cafeteria employee was sentenced to 9 years behind, guilty to stealing millions in flats and drums over 19 months when she was in charge of the food ordering. Ultimately, Liddell was caught during the audit when officials realized the school had gone away over their budget. Enter 30-year-old Chris Jones, a three-time Super Bowl champion and one of the league's most dominant players, who just so happened to sign a lucrative 5-year, $158 million extension recently. In other words, the three-time Super Bowl champ has his wing money. I'm sure he likes wings. I'll pay for the wings that she stole to get her free, Jones wrote on Twitter. Unfortunately for Liddell and Jones, that's not how the criminal justice system works. Especially not after a conviction and a sentencing. So as much as the school would love the money back, Vera is going to serve her prison sentence. And not admirable. Admirable. Okay, so admirable doesn't exist.
I don't know about that one. We'll have to do some research.
I feel like I've heard that before. Very admirable. No? Dictionary? No? Okay.
Looks like just admirable.
All right, fine. I tried. It was very admiring. A Florida man who was 25 years old drove a semi-truck through a strip club after getting kicked out. That's just a headline. A man drove a semi-truck through a Florida strip club early Tuesday morning. Actually killed a man and injuring two others after he was kicked out. The incident unfolded shortly after 4:30 a.m. That's a late night strip club. It happened at Emperor's Gentlemen's Club in Tampa.
A stand-up establishment.
Yeah. George, the bartender, have you seen him yet, Georgie?
I don't know if I've met Georgie yet.
You haven't met
season 3
at the
maybe.
Bada Bing, the bartender?
I'm sure I've met him at some point.
Tony always beats him up?
Oh, yes, I have seen Tony taking some anger out on him.
That's local comedian Frank Santarelli. So when I used to work at 1510 with Steve Sweeney, he used to always come in and he would just be like, buy the Sopranos DVDs. Because he gets royalties as being Georgie from the Sopranos. A lot happened at the Bing, though, right? The Bing is where they have their club. Where they get their gabagool from Satrielli's.
I did just learn the backstory of Satrielli's. I just learned how it became theirs, I should say.
Yeah.
Tony's father.
Exactly. If you watch the prequel movie, you can find out, too. What was I going to say? And then what else happened at the Bing? Well, Silvio was the Joey, Joe Pantaleone. What's his character's name? Ralphie. Have you met Ralphie yet?
I don't know if I've met Ralphie yet.
We're all right. Keep watching.
Janice is moving into Olivia's house. The Russian woman is
with the one
being
leg?
told to move out. Yes. She stole the records or whatever.
The one-legged Russian woman.
Yes. Have
you heard anything about her yet?
Nothing of consequence yet.
Okay.
So that's coming.
I mean, go figure. There's a one-legged Russian woman with a hot sister.
Yeah, no. Janice stole her leg for a little while.
Yes.
Yeah. That's about where I'm at. Yeah. And then she's pleading innocence that she didn't steal her leg.
She's saying that she's a pathological liar.
It seems to run in the family.
Tony's sister.
Oh, he's got two of them. Yeah.
One is kind of out of the picture. She's there, but she's probably been on 3 episodes tops. But Tony's sister is a real just.
Einbein says the Russian woman is his favorite Sopranos character.
Yes. I wonder if you guys have different legs. Of course he is. What are we talking about? Oh, the strip club. Who drives a Mack truck into the strip club? Now he's got nowhere to go tomorrow. Do you think they're still open during construction and renovations?
an under construction strip club.
But it's still under construction. It's open. But you wouldn't know it. But it's still open. So I guess really, like, if you're going to crash into a strip club, you got to go to work the next day, right? Like if someone crashed into the Cab or the Golden Banana, are they still going to operate? I mean, these ladies have, they got a business to run. Riz said, yeah, they'll set up outside like where they did in Providence at the Foxy Lady. Oh, boy.
Would you like to speak to Riz?
Oh, is he on the line?
He's on hold.
Riz, Murray's Musings. Hello, sir.
My boy Joe, Skaz, Christina doing a hell of a job without a screener. But I'm just upset, man. They let Judon go. As usual, Patriots don't pay. And you can actually see Judon's flight from the Patriots lighthouse. But I had another thing to say earlier. You had a call, I believe, Bob from Woburn. You know what, Joe? The negativity in this town sucks. And it kind of reminds me of another thing. The only reason why you guys probably had Christina there is for political reasons.
Not true.
It's because she's white.
Oh, not true. We had interns that were recommended to us, and Christina was one of them. Is Riz gone?
Yeah, I think it was his mic drop moment. I love Riz.
I get what he meant.
Yes. If you had to be listening to the whole show to get that one. But.
Oh, Riz.
I don't know what they want to talk about, Joe, but you want to talk to Pat in the truck?
Let's talk to Pat in the truck. Pat.
Joe, how we doing?
How you doing?
Good. Hey, what do you think? With Judon gone, Bondmore out the door, what are we, bottom 5 in the league now?
They already were.
Bottom 3, bottom 2, what do we got?
I think bottom 3, bro. I have them as the worst team in the league.
That's horrible.
I bet on it.
I got nothing else.
Well, I mean, now we can bet on it. They've already admitted they're gonna suck, right? We might as well make some money doing it.
They're all done.
They are all done. Thanks, Pat. They're all done.
I like how defeated he was. That's all I got. They're terrible. That's all I got.
We don't usually take calls during musings. This is fun. Anybody else?
Maybe we should mix in a caller's musing where the callers get to call in and muse.
I think that would be nice.
Maybe once a week. Well, relying on the callers can be a risky endeavor at night sometimes. But yeah, maybe a little callers musing once a month. Maybe that's something to consider.
We'll have to we'll have to tease it like the night before or 2 nights before. So then when it happens, we already have the people lined up ready to go.
Oh, JP will have a musing for us.
Always. And maybe we need a hashtag for that. Hashtag always, always.
Always, always.
Well, is there anybody else there? I can't even tell.
Sure, Joe. Why not? One more for musings. Dan and JP.
Dan.
Joe, you got to save me. I just got in from the Sox game. I tweeted at you. Buddy, I can't. We're about the same age. I can't stand these pink hat Patriots fans. These guys have never sat at the old Gillette Stadium. All they know is winning. They know nothing about football. You can't win without a good line and D-line. They're going to suck this year, but I'm in it for the long term.
Yeah,
I remember.
You're 5 years in it. No. You're 5 years. You're 5 years in. You're 5 years in.
Yeah.
You're already in it.
Yeah, but they're kind of halfway at the last 3 years. They kind of trying to thread the needle, and they've done a terrible job, admittedly.
In 4 out of 5 years, they've made the playoffs once. They've made the playoffs once in 4 out of 5 years.
Exactly.
And you're happy with that.
I'm not happy with it, but the alternative was...
What's the alternative? Spend money and try to be competitive?
No, well, where are you going to spend...
They have $50 million. Don't tell me they can't spend it.
No, they could absolutely spend it, Joe, but who are you going to spend that on?
Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know. How about Bakhtiari, who's got... I don't care. Can they play?
Guys past their prime?
I will take a 40-year-old guy if he's better than the Mafia at center.
Yeah, I suppose, Joe. I'm just saying, you know what? I hear you. We're further into the process. I think Belichick covered up a lot of bad football, and I think we're going to find that out this year because the guy's best coach in the history of football, and we're going to find out this year how many mistakes that guy covered up for with his schemes and his coach.
Well, they're worse. This is my point. They're worse.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you, Joe. But it is what it is. I just can't stand these.
It's not what it is.
Football.
it's not. It is what it is. It is what it is since Tom Brady's walked out that door.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. But I also recall being a Pats fan. I am, but I also recall being 1-15, 2-14. I remember the Tim Goad years, like the Scott Sequels, all that stuff. So I could understand as long as there's a plan in place, I'm for it. Right now, there doesn't seem to be a strong plan in place. But the alternative to not having a good plan is not to spend money on a bunch of guys who can't play a full season and whose best years are behind them. That's just my opinion, Joe.
I have no
appreciate
problem.
everything you bring.
Gotcha. I have no problem with the Judon trade. It's just opened up all the other problems. Let me ask you this. Who's the best player on the Patriots right now?
Who's the best player on the Patriots right now? Well, he's hurt now, but I'd say it was Barmore, so I'd probably say, you know what, and I can't even say Gonzalez because you only have a 4-game time.
Give me the name. You don't have it. You don't have it.
That's right, because there's no talent on the team, which further enforces the point not to invest.
Problem.
You don't.
That is not Bill Belichick's fault. It's not anyway. It's no one's fault but Robert May. Drake May's not ready. Drake May is not ready. Drake May. No. It's been 5 years since Tom Brady has left, and the Patriots still aren't ready. And that's going to be an article for tomorrow, guys. Stop telling me Drake May is not ready because the Patriots aren't ready. That's the headline.
I'll have one. The headline, how can we evaluate the Patriots?
There we go.
Can we?
Boston Radio Watch. The $50 million, they're saving it for the new soccer stadium.
Still waiting for that one.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of soccer, did something happen?
Yeah, there are rumors swirling on Twitter that Mauricio Pochettino, will be the next head coach of the U.S. men's national team. For people that aren't hardcore soccer fans, he's a younger guy for a manager, 52. He Premier League for a little while. He managed Tottenham. He was good at Tottenham. I thought he was actually for Tottenham. I mean, they came in second in the league and they lost in the Champions League final with him. So yeah, he's kind of a player's coach. Taylor Twellman had a really good tweet on it. He basically, so he worked alongside sporting director Matt Crocker at Southampton before going on to Tottenham. So there's a history between the two guys. That seems to be the main reason he was brought in. Very charismatic guy. Played for Argentina, not a superstar or anything like that, but in terms of managers in U.S. men's national team, like recent history, it's a pretty big name and a good get for them. He went to PSG, won the league, but winning the league at PSG in League One is basically like winning a gold medal for Team USA, Joe. They're always the best team in the league. It's kind of just what happens. So, yeah, it would be a good hire. I don't want to call it a home run. I think that's a little strong, but I think this would be a very, very good hire for
5. Irving Magic Johnson, 65 years old today. Susan Olsen, 63. Halle Berry, 58 years old today. Catherine Bell, 58 years old. Mila Kunis, 41 years old. I know that Christina put a bunch in Slack as well. Just trying to pull those up. Tim Tebow, 30 ball player. Mike Vrabel, 49. Could have been the coach, right? Mark Loretta hit a walk-off home run for the Red Sox in 2002. Bobby Eaton, a wrestler, 66 years old today. Rusty Wallace, auto racer, 68 years old today. Bob Backlund, WWE champion, former, 75 years old today. Anybody else guess?
Joe, I don't know if you ever read the comics as a kid. Something I always did as a kid. But Gary Larson, 74th birthday today. He did the Far Side comics.
Oh. Kofi Kingston, wrestler, 43 years old, went to BC. Part of the New Day.
Is New Day still a thing with Big E out?
So I think they just added another large fellow named Odyssey Jones. He played guard at Syracuse. But I don't think Xavier Woods, the third member of New Day, likes it.
They missed their guy.
I think that he doesn't like that they brought someone else in. And he's kind of like, this isn't the New Day. So I think they're building a storyline where Xavier Woods goes against Kofi. But it's going to help put this big guy over. And maybe Big E shows up. I don't think he's going to wrestle again, though.
That's a sad one.
It's because of his neck. Bryan Danielson just said that he's going to might need surgery at the end of the year.
I was shocked he came back.
Never had. And then we'll say bye to Christina before we go home. And your calls here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
This is a good enough pick to make this deal. This is about the future. You are the Patriots in 2024. You have stunk for several years now. You're in all likelihood going to continue to stink, and you're embracing that to a degree by making this move. But this is what makes sense for them in the long term, given where they are. You get a third-round pick. I talked to a couple executives just tonight, Mike, about an hour or so ago. One of them used the word shocked to describe the return that the Patriots got, figured that it would be a later round pick. I think even the Patriots, if you gave them some truth serum, were surprised that they ended up getting a third round pick for Mathew Judon. So the pick was valuable enough that you sort of had to make the deal.
All right, back here, 98.5, the Sports Hub. I think best case scenario was the Patriots got a third round pick for Mathew Judon. Yesterday I heard Chicago, the Bears, were interested in a fourth and a sixth round pick. Sounds like the Texans were involved. That would have been a big find. It came down to the Bears and Atlanta. I remind you, Atlanta was criticized for not drafting a defensive player with their first round pick. They took Michael Penix. And people criticize it also because they already had Kirk Cousins. Yes, they could have drafted someone in the first round and had a new defensive player for under contract for a while. Instead, they got the quarterback they wanted, gave up a third-round pick next year, and got the best pass rusher available. To me, I think Atlanta is the big winner here, but the Patriots it's a good move for the Pats. It is. What sucks for the Pats is they lost the face of their franchise. There's no one else to relate to. We've been trying to bring up who's the next best player, and no one has the right answer. No one. But yet, every beat writer will read, like I'm just reading this, and I love these guys, so please don't think I'm criticizing them at all. But this is what we just heard Phil Perry. Yep, they're going to suck. They're going to embrace the suck. We heard Bob Socci mention a suck tax recently. Oh, no, Mike Reese mentioned a suck tax recently. Andrew Callahan today, the 22 days ago, Gerard Mayo told you the Patriots season isn't about wins and losses. It's about the future. And by trading Mathew Judon, the team is now all but signaled on punting for 2024. I saw Mike Reese earlier. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Who wants to hear this anymore? Don't think I'm just screaming here and yelling because I'm overreacting about a trade. I like the trade. What I'm overreacting about is the fact that everyone's embracing the suck and they're enabling the Crafts. The Patriots have $50 million in cap space right now after trading Mathew Judon. Like, what they can't, you're just going to keep the money? Like, what are you going to do? And then for all the people who say, well, what can they do? I don't know. You can go get a tackle, trade for one, and acquire, give up a high pick, not meaning first round. I'm talking fourth, fifth, sixth rounder to take back a bad contract, but it's someone that can help you now. I don't have the name. I'll look for one if you'd like. But there has to be a tackle that some team is uninterested in, that they don't want to pay anymore, but can help the Patriots right away. You have to use your cap space. You've had 5 years to get offensive linemen and a top receiver, and you've done none of that. That is not on Bill Belichick, because this year, this offseason, you had the money. You had an opportunity to bring in Calvin Ridley. You didn't. You could have probably blown Brandon Ayuk out of the water, but you didn't. And now no one wants to play here anymore. There's no player to associate as the New England Patriot anymore. Mathew Judon was that guy. It's upsetting they're at this point. It's upsetting. And don't enable them anymore. Every article you see now is, they told you a while ago it was going to be like this. It's rebuild now mode. It's been rebuild now mode. It has been rebuild now mode. It's been rebuild now mode. Don't want to hear about, well, that's a bad step back for a step forward. Meh. No. You're the New England Patriots. You have money. Spend it. I don't want to hear another person tell me Drake May's not ready. Drake May is not ready because the Patriots aren't ready. The Patriots, who aren't ready, drafted Drake May 3rd overall. I'm not saying it's wrong to do that, but you had other opportunities. You could have traded with the Giants, moved back 2 spots, and got a first-round pick next year. You still could have traded Judon and got a third-round pick. Like, all those things could have happened, and that's how you get better. That's how you get ready. They're not getting ready. They're not spending. So, therefore, Drake May won't be ready because you aren't. Stop saying, you know who the shield is? It's Drake May. Drake May's the shield, Skaz. Drake May's the shield. He's not ready, so they're going to suck. He's the shield. It's because they're not ready. Maybe I can put that in 300 words. Stop telling me Drake May's not ready. The Patriots haven't been ready in 5 years. And now they're taking a step back again? To what? Build something? How do we know this team can build? How do we evaluate these guys? How do you evaluate Gerard Mayo? How do you evaluate Elliott Wolf? There's been a lot of shields for the Crafts for a long time. $50 million available in cap space. And they're playing their second preseason game tomorrow. And people are going to show up tomorrow, right? They're going to show up to the game. They want to see Drake May. Are they even going to put him out there? Are they even going to do it? I don't know if you have anything else, Gaz, but I just kind of got it all out right there.
It's been somewhat of a therapeutic show, I think, for you, Joe, tonight, letting it all out. No, I'm with you. I think this is it's just ugly, Joe. It's ugly as a fan. It's embarrassing. It's tough. I don't even know if you can argue the Patriots have the worst roster in the NFL. Just top to bottom. Like, they have a pretty solid defense, but with Barmore out, Judon gone, Gonzalez coming off an injury, it's just what is there to be excited about? What are you looking forward to if you're a fan? You were looking forward to Drake May's development, but Drake May's not. We're not even going to get to see that. Apparently, Drake May's development is just going to happen on the practice field, which for the most part I'm fine with. But taking a guy at 3 and not having anything in place to let him grow or progress in any way, you're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball even more.
And that sucks for him.
It sucks for him. It sucks for the Patriots. Like, take other guys. I don't know if you saw it. I put it in Slack earlier today. I'll find it. Give me 1 second. But basically, all right, Joe, here we go. This is from Reddit. I will find the user to give them credit. But in the last, from 2000 to 2022, Joe, hit rate for guys who started 7 or less games their rookie year for a quarterback was 48%. Hit rate for guys who started 9 or more games was 32%. No rookie QB started 8 games.
So under 7 is the number.
7 or less games started as a rookie.
Okay.
So 7 guys that started, I'm sorry, not 7 guys. Rookies that started 7 or less games.
Yep.
Jordan Love, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, Jay Cutler, Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Eli, Phillip Rivers, Mike Vick, Drew Brees.
3 of them won Super Bowls.
So those are your hits for started less than 7 games. Your misses for started less than 7 games. Trey Lance, Dwayne Haskins, Paxton Lynch, Johnny Manziel, Jake Locker, Tebow, Jamarcus Russell, Brady Quinn, Jason Campbell, J.P. Lossman, Rex Grossman, Patrick Ramsey, Chad Pennington.
I would say 2 or 3 of those teams were ready.
And most of them weren't. So then you have the guys who started 9 or more games as a rookie. Your hits: Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Josh Allen, Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, Stafford, Matt Ryan, Flacco, Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer.
A lot of Super Bowl winners there.
Kyler Murray's also in that list. I think he could be considered. Yeah.
He's 50-50, yes.
Exactly. So your misses for guys that started 9 games or more as a rookie.
Mac Jones.
Kenny Pickett, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Trubisky, Wentz, Winston, Mariota, Bortles, Bridgewater, RG3, Tannehill, Whedon, Gabbert, Ponder, Bradford, Sanchez, Freeman, Young, Leinart, Leftwich, Bowler, David Carr, Joey Harrington.
The only one to win a championship is Blaine Gabbert. And as a backup.
And as a backup. So
it's terrible.
Just looking at that data, and I understand it's a lot to take in. What it says, though, to me on the whole is that to have a quarterback that hits as a rookie and play more than 9 games is very rare. And those guys are your Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall pick, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Herbert, guys, Josh Allen, Andrew Luck, Newton, freaks of nature, basically. 7 or less games, you have Mahomes in there, Lamar. So, there are guys like that, but then you have your Jordan Loves, your Cutlers, your Goffs, Alex Smith. Mm-hmm. The safer approach with these guys, and I know the NFL is changing. I know college teams play a more pro-style ready game. 7 or less games as a rookie is not a death sentence.
So it's the way.
It's
the highest hit rate.
It is the highest hit rate.
And there's some guys that exclude. And we're going back years, but Peyton Manning played right away, had to.
And he was awful. Yep. He set the record for most interceptions.
Russell Wilson played right away, but they built around him and eventually went to 2 Super Bowls, won 1.
And I think, this is something that Lifshatz has harped on for a long time. He's doing it on Twitter right now, is that if you look at the Eagles, the 49ers, the Chiefs, they built the roster first and then got the quarterback. The Patriots got the quarterback, and they don't have a roster.
That's exactly my point. They just haven't helped themselves, but want to tell you the kid's not ready. I think they're deflecting on the kid for the team not being ready. And by the way, at North Carolina, Drake May faced this same thing. They lost Sam Howell and a bunch of players. He came in, lit it up. The next year, a bunch of guys left, right? The running backs left, everything. He struggled a little bit more because there's tape on him. But he still they had no line, they had no receivers, the defense. I think he can play. Just don't tell me he's not ready anymore. Because it's the Patriots who aren't ready and drafted a kid. Now they want to build the team but have the guy? It doesn't work that way. Well, we'll take a quick look at the headlines here. I'll get you caught up. And then we're going to bring Christina Longo in studio. We got to say bye to her. It's her last night. She's done an excellent job here. And on her last day was the day Mathew Judon got traded. We'll tell you what the Patriots got in return coming up next now in Headlines.
Massachusetts. Call 1-877-KIDS-NOW or go to insurekidsnow.gov.
Zolak and Bertrand get you through the midday. Joe Murray gets you right through the night.
I actually spoke with women today.
You know, it's like this weekend, next weekend, and then it's Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day.
That's it. So
Yep.
Tina's takes.
Tina's takes.
What's your take on Mathew Judon?
I mean, I think it's probably the best you guys were going to get for him because
That's right. You're not a Patriot.
I'm not a Patriots fan. But he walked by me the other day at camp, and I was a little starstruck. I'm not going to lie. But he does seem like he kind of walks with this air about him, like he's got this attitude, like his stuff don't stink.
Yep. They don't. But I'll tell you this much, though. He's a big man. He's still a great player. Still a great player. Yes, you were down at camp the other day. Did you get the vibe that they were the worst team in the league?
No, I didn't. I mean, I think we all go through periods of time where, like, we're going to have to sit this one out. Like, everything else, I'm a diehard Boston fan. So, like, I've been through periods of time where Celtics sucked, Red Sox sucked, Bruins sucked. I mean, Bruins really sucked. They keep breaking my heart. So, I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the league. I mean, for me, it's always Chicago. The Bears always suck.
The Bears, they do.
They always suck.
Just like the Skaz just literally went over a list of quarterbacks. How many were actually on the Bears? Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
Rex Grossman got to a Super Bowl.
He did get, yeah, he did. No, I'm sure if you go through that list, you can find like a theme of teams.
Mm-hmm.
Jets.
Yeah.
Bears.
I will say they had Chad Pennington as a miss on that list. I think he was pretty good.
Yeah. The only thing is Mark Sanchez was the one that got them to the. So that's why they'll probably call him a miss. But yeah, no, Pennington was, and he was competitive when the Patriots were in their late 90s, right? Or early 2000s? Because he was the quarterback when Bledsoe got hurt in that 01 year, yeah.
I feel like Chargers should be on that list too, because sometimes they could get really far.
Phillip Rivers was really solid.
So good.
Though. Yeah, he was solid.
He just never had a good core.
But the Browns probably had 7 guys on there. Brandon Weeden, Johnny Manziel.
You think remember last year with the Purdy stuff, we got some Phillip Rivers rumors. Do you think we get that again?
Well, I think Ryan Tannehill's the guy this year.
Well, Joe, we did mention one guy to the Vikings.
Bailey Zappi.
No. Another former Patriots quarterback that we discussed. Yeah, his landing spots. We said the 49ers and the Eagles would be the big ones.
Tom Brady.
But we did mention that a sleeper team could
Tom Brady.
be.
The Vikings don't have a quarterback, but they just lost their number 1 receiver. Their number 2 receiver.
I don't think he's going there.
He ain't going there now.
I like stories.
Yeah,
Someone did just share a video of like Tom Brady saying he wants to bulk up because he's not sure he wants to put the helmet down yet.
Oh, what do you think of Tom Brady's football team? He had Jason Tatum at quarterback.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, he's got Tatum at quarterback, LeBron James at wide receiver.
I'm not a LeBron James fan at all. I'm out. I'm so out on LeBron James.
Oh, yeah, of course you are. Everyone, I've given in to LeBron.
Yeah, I have too.
Why?
I respect
because
LeBron.
he is the best player in the league, and he's going to tell you he's the best player in the league. So I just embrace it now.
He's never actually done anything either.
He's actually a great human.
He's a decent human being. I just think he's a very cocky,
of course,
basketball player.
Yeah, he won the gold medal, and then he'll walk through the streets with his gold medal.
But you can be humble about it. Look at Tatum and Brown. They're humble.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I think they are, in my opinion. I think they're humble.
I mean, you can't be a Jordan fan and then say, LeBron should be humble.
Michael Jordan's the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was not humble.
Not humble.
No,
Michael Jordan wanted to tell you how good he was, but he'd also stuff it in your face and shoot in your face.
You're right. Okay, you guys got me there.
It's okay. There's no wrong takes. Just remember, they're only wrong when you don't use facts. That's it. That's the only time. So how many times do you think I really yelled?
This whole summer? Maybe really, really yelled, maybe 3 times.
So overall, you thought I was just a funny.
Yeah, it's just funny. You just get amped up.
I've been pissed a couple of times.
Yeah, you have been pissed.
But it's been the callers,
Yeah, the caller tonight was so ignorant. That was
cool.
no bueno.
Did not like that.
That was no bueno. Because then we had someone in the chat agreeing with the caller, and I was like, yeah, no, you can go on timeout.
Pound sand.
Yeah. Timeout.
So what are you going to do now?
What am I going to do now? So just working, and then I'm on vacation starting next week for 2 weeks. I'm going to see Creed in concert next Wednesday.
Yes.
Creed.
Where's that show?
Mansfield. It's Creed, Three Doors Down, and Finger 11.
Ooh, wow.
Which I don't know Finger 11 at all, so I'm going to be
Do they sing
doing.
satisfied,
That's Creed right there.
Can you take me higher?
I feel like it's going to be a religious experience, all the videos.
So I rooted for the Texas Rangers last year because of Creed.
Because of Creed?
We were doing Creed segments basically on the night show.
So I fully admit I'm a Creed fan. I liked Creed when they came out. My Own Prison was an excellent album. Now, don't get me wrong. Did things get a little weird at the end? Yes.
Yeah.
Did Scott Stapp become a weirdo?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did I listen to a little bit of Alter Bridge? I did when he moved on. And I like Mark Tremonti. I think he's a fantastic guitarist. But I saw a show in 2002 at Mansfield. Jerry, I love Alice in Chains. Jerry Cantrell's my favorite. He opened for Creed. And I thought the Creed show was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And I went for Jerry.
I'm excited. I've been seeing TikTok videos all over TikTok, and I can't wait. So my dad was a diehard Creed fan. He was one of those dads that would bang on the steering wheel as these songs would play. So I feel like it's going to be like a little bit of a religious, emotional experience for me.
What's this life for? Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And then I'm just going to chill, maybe go to the beach. I haven't hit the beach up this summer, so maybe hit a little Nahant.
I love Nahant Beach.
Nahant or maybe Salisbury.
Ooh, big waves out there.
Yeah. But the water's too cold.
North Shore's too cold.
It's too cold.
If you really want to be warm, you got to go to the South Shore.
Like where, though? I've never done South Shore beaches.
The best South Shore beach is probably Duxbury Beach.
Okay, Duxbury.
But I would just go to the Cape.
Okay.
I've
never been to the Cape.
Yeah, you're a real North Shore. You're not even really from the North Shore.
No,
Medford.
I've lived in this area.
You're like central,
yeah.
Boston almost.
Yeah.
You just never you got to go to the Cape someday.
Yeah, I've never lived.
It's going to take you 2 hours.
I know. Believe me.
The warmest water you'll ever be in. Well, Miami's the worst.
I love Miami. South Beach is so nice. My stepdad's Cuban. He's from Miami. It's
the best Cuban food I ever had. Versailles. Oh.
I'm just gonna throw a little plug to a Miami restaurant, La Carreta. Best. So there's a couple. It's not a chain, but there is like 3 or 4 of them. But there's one, I can't remember the name of the road. I'll have to look it up and send you guys later. But I literally get what's called steak and chimichurri with fried yuca and some rice. So good. So good.
Some guy said Joe doesn't go to the beach. Yes, this guy doesn't understand me, does he?
It's just that New England water's too
cold.
cold.
I'm not pasty, am I?
No.
I'm tan.
You're tan.
Yes,
you were at the beach on your vacation.
I know. I went for a week.
Yeah.
I got lights in the studio that keep me tan too.
They actually never turned off tonight, did they? The lights.
Yeah, this guy called me pasty. No.
No.
I am.
You
not
are not pasty at all.
That's an insult.
Tell the caller to call in. We'll tell him. We'll set him straight.
I'm not.
Joe Murray is not pasty.
Save that one, Skez. So we got 3 minutes to go.
Oh, dang.
Any predictions? I know you're a Steeler fan. Who's going to start week 1 for the Steelers?
I hope it's Russell Wilson. I just saw a video today. They're doing Justin Fields at wide receiver, or trying it out, seeing how it goes. We'll see.
Brandon Ayuk, we're waiting on him.
Yeah, it keeps going back and forth. I see conflicting things on Twitter.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I want to see Detroit because I was heartbroken for them last year. I was heartbroken. You want to see the underdogs win. I'm sick of seeing San Fran. Sick of it. And I don't want them to be tied with the Patriots and the Steelers for the most rings. They can stay at 5. Thank you very much.
Okay. And do the Celtics repeat?
I hope so, yeah. I actually, I think so. I believe so. Bruins, I think they're going to break my heart again. I'm not even going to go there with that.
Oh, what else has great beaches? Rhode Island.
Yeah, I grew up. So I grew up in Westerly.
Oh, great! Oh my God, Misquamicut, it's beautiful.
Misquamicut,
Watch
so
Hill.
Nice. But it's.
I go to the 99 down the road there.
The 90. Oh my God! My grandmother used to live the street over from there. Yeah. There's actually a restaurant in Westerly called Longo's. I don't know if I'm related to them, but
you gotta get a T-shirt. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they have one at Twin River and in Westerly called Longo's Restaurant. It's really good Italian food. I heard. And the guy from The Sopranos, Bobby
Baklava.
Yeah, he eats there.
Oh, wow, all right.
Yeah, so I tried one time. I commented on a post. I was like, I'm a Longo. Can you get me in there? I want to meet Bobby.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Sopranos character?
Bobby.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like trains?
Huh?
Do you like trains?
Trains? What do you mean?
He was a big train guy.
Oh, I don't remember. I've only seen like episodes here and there, but I more know Bobby from Blue Bloods. I love Blue Bloods.
Christina, great job. You were great. You were awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Tell everybody how they can find you.
They can find me on Instagram at tlongo915, or they can find me at Twitter at clongo92. And my Facebook is just my name, Christina Longo, and you'll see a picture of me and my boyfriend up there. That's my profile picture, so you can't miss me.
She's Christina Longo, everybody. Great job from her, Dean College. Thank you for sending her to us.
Thank you to John Rook for making the connection to Jim Louth for me.
Great guy. Christina, thank you. Skaz, great job. We're off tomorrow. Skaz has to work, though. I'm on at night. Patriots, Eagles tomorrow night. Christina, thank you. Excellent job. Say bye to everybody. Say bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for all the support this summer. Love you guys. Bye, YouTube fam.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.